Tonight in Chestnut Hill marks the third red bandana game, and when opponents have come into Chestnut Hill for that matchup, they have been taken to the limit by Boston College. Tonight, with the fans packing this place, a top 5 team comes into town. Number 3 Clemson coming off an emotional Saturday night victory against the Louisville Cardinals. They will be tested by Boston College's top-ranked defense in college football tonight. Welcome to Chestnut Hill, and you're watching the ACC on ESPN. Right now, it's a 10-game ACC losing streak for the Boston College Eagles, while Clemson comes in at 2-0 in the Atlantic. A couple of ACC rivals meeting tonight on a Friday. Adam Amin, Mac Brown, Molly McGrath will join us in a moment as well. So last week, a playoff caliber victory really for the Clemson Tigers against Louisville, and it felt like Deshaun Watson was getting into his groove. There were some turnover issues, yes, but we remember why he's so dynamic.
Well, the coaches were worried that he's trying to live up to an expectation of last year instead of this year, but they felt like the Troy State game kind of was an eye-opener for him as well. Deshaun Watson is the real deal. Only guy in FBS to ever pass for 4,000 and rush for 1,000. He can beat you with his feet. He can see when nobody's open, he pulls it down and starts running with it. And that's really tough on defenses because they'd rather have him throw it instead of having the dual threat. He also is a guy that when he's back there, he can step up. And this is something I saw Vince Young and Colt McCoy do at Texas all the time at him. He pulls the linebacker, he pulls the corner up, he throws it over their head, gets it inside the 10, moving for the touchdown. The thing he can do, though, that really kills you, if you start putting too many in the box, you go one-on-one with their big receivers outside, he can throw the deep ball perfectly and pinpoint accuracy and get that arrow that he's trying to shoot to get to the championship at the end of the year. He is a great football player.
Now, obviously, it's a short week. They were beat up against Louisville the other night. So, Molly McGrath, how does Dabo Swinney get this team energized for a Friday night game?
Well, Adam, it's funny. I was on this very field in 2008 when Clemson beat Boston College in Dabo Swinney's first win as the Tigers head coach, and he gets emotional when recounting that night and has been harping on the importance of this game all week, telling his players win number 1 was in Boston. Now let's go get win number 81. He still has a photo of himself in the visitors' locker room after that first win, and even had players from that 2008 team, Jacoby Ford and CJ Spiller, come to practice this week to talk about how special it is to play in Boston. And this is a rivalry game, guys. The winner receives the O'Rourke McFadden Trophy, and Swinney said in 2008 it felt like a championship trophy to him, and he doesn't want to have to give it back tonight.
Molly, that was his first trophy as a head coach. That was the first year it was doled out in 2008. An ACC road test for Clemson tonight. And our friend Juanes takes us to break.
Touchdown! Watson does keep it and heads to the end zone. Downfield, touchdown, Clemson! And that was easy for Deshaun Watson.
Bandana game, the representation of a guy who was committed totally to service for others, who laid his life down for service for others. It's a special place that you reside here at BC. It's special, and what you have to do to honor that is play together. That's what we ask you to do, to bring the best out of each other, to count on each other, to love each other, to drive each other, respect the game, and have great faith. There's nothing more powerful than that.
An emotional Steve Adazio as Boston College takes the field for the third annual red bandana game commemorating Wells. Meanwhile, Clemson coming off the short week and taking the field here at Alumni Stadium in preparation for a tough ACC road test. Boston College trying to pick up a much-needed ACC win, and obviously tonight would be the signature of signature wins if they could pick it up against the third-ranked team in the country in the Clemson Tigers. Boston College They deferred, so Clemson will get the ball first. But when we see Boston College's offense, they call themselves a running back by committee. And if you want to beat a top 5 team, you got to possess the football because Clemson can be explosive. You got to hold on to this thing. It's going to be up to these guys.
Adam, Boston College got a hope tonight that Clemson's a little flat because they had such an emotional game and a physical game last Saturday. Short week. So they want to jump on them, try to drag this thing into the fourth quarter with a chance to win, be physical in the running game, take some shots in the passing game, and probably stick an explosive play in there out of a trick play.
Has not beaten Clemson yet, Steve Adazio, in his time as the head coach at Boston College. The Tigers have won 5 straight and 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams. Mike Knoll will get us going tonight from Chestnut Hill, and off we go. It will be Artavis Scott, who had a big return against Louisville in the fourth quarter last week to set up what was a very important touchdown. Good coverage by Boston College. Taj Amir Torres was there with the stop. One of the best coverage units in college football. So Deshaun Watson, responsible for the second most touchdowns in Clemson history at 80. Only Taj Boyd had more in his Clemson career at 133. The defensive coordinator, Jim Reed, knows all the stats that you're looking at. He talked to us about it yesterday. He knows how scary Deshaun Watson can be at his best.
And if you're Clemson, you're trying to get out of the box fast and show them that you're ready to play. If you're Boston College, knock a ball loose. Win in the kicking game.
Watson to throw on first down, and he'll check it down to Wayne Gallman, who cannot hold on as he gets drilled by Ty Schwab. That's the type of energy I would imagine you need to see tonight from this Boston College defense.
Oh, absolutely, and you've got to discourage them. If you're going to their place and they're fired up, it's a bigger game for them tonight emotionally than it is for Clemson. So if you're Clemson, you got to get this thing started.
Ray McLeod in motion, and he gets the little pitch, and he'll get to the edge, but he gets stopped near the 15-yard line by Kevin Kavalak, the senior out of Ohio.
And Adam, this is the #1 defense in the country with BC. We said they haven't played the toughest schedule, so by stats it may not be the best defense in the country, but if they can stand up to Clemson's offense, we're going to have to give them credit for being #1 tonight.
Crucial early third down for Watson and the Tigers. Just a 4-man rush, and Watson blitzes one over the middle and cannot connect with Mike Williams, one of his top targets. So a 3-and-out for Clemson to start the night.
They manned up. They looked like they were going to be pressure. They ended up just rushing 4. But one of the things that makes you feel like you're probably not as focused is drop passes. And one of the best receivers at Clemson dropped the first pass of the game for him.
So it's punted away by Andy Teasdall. An excellent field position at their own 47-yard line for Boston College. It's Tyler Rouse making the fair catch signal. So now Patrick Tolles, the 2-year starter at Kentucky, the graduate transfer who comes in to a pro-style offense, a big-bodied pro-style quarterback with a good arm, takes over the reins in the last 2 weeks. Against lesser competition, he's looked sharper.
Well, and here's a guy that's 6'5", he's 250 pounds. He runs a 4.5 40, so he's the real deal. Just got to be consistent tonight with his passing game.
I formation to start the night with John Hilleman, the lead rusher, the tail of the tandem. And Tolles off play action. We'll check it down to Hilleman. And in space, he gets grabbed by Ben Boulware, who was named the National Defensive Player of the Week by the Football Writers Association. He's one of our impact players tonight.
Well, Ben Boulware had 18 tackles last week at him. A fumble recovery, a deflected pass. This guy is a beast. He's all over the field. And for BC to hang in here tonight and have a chance to win, #6 wide receiver Jeff Smith's got to get some explosives and get deep. And he was a quarterback in the spring, so he could throw off a trick play.
On second down, here is Hilleman, and Boulware is there to help shut him down at the Clemson 48-yard line, along with Corinne Wiggins. So third down for Boston College coming up. All the stats are not very good on the offensive side for BC. They haven't really been the last couple of seasons. Last year, there were a lot of injuries. This year, they're trying to work with a new quarterback. So do they have some level of consistency tonight to stay on the field? 3rd and 4 here.
They've got a real short margin for error, so they've got to stay on the field on third downs, and Clemson has to get off. this will be a key part of this game.
Tolles under pressure. Escapes and launches and out of bounds into the Clemson bench. Looking for Charlie Callanan. Good pressure by Carlos Watkins, one of those big front guys for this Clemson front seven that's been really good this year.
Yes, one of the concerns was the young offensive line at BC. You come with an X stunt, which means the tackle comes out and the end comes underneath, and he forced him to throw it out of bounds.
But Mike Knoll will punt it away to Ray McLeod. And he mucks the football inside the 10, and it looks like the Eagles have it. And a special teams disaster for the Tigers to start.
Rolling on the field is a muff punt recovered by Boston College first down.
John Johnson was there to scoop it for BC after McLeod could not corral it.
John Johnson's one of the better defensive backs in the ACC. Ray's got great hands, but again, just a little bit off that focus. And we said, when you're going on the road after an emotional win and a physical win like last week, you're just not quite there. You don't have as much focus in this game as Boston College, because you think, they beat Buffalo, it's no big deal, we're going to win the game. Only way for Clemson to lose is special teams errors and turnovers. And we've seen Mike Williams drop a pass, and we've also seen a punt that was dropped.
John Hilliman churning his way to the 6-yard line, burrowing into that tough Clemson front. Boston College 0-2 in ACC play. They have losses to Georgia Tech in the opener in Dublin, a game that they clearly could have had, according to Steve Adazio. Then they lost to Virginia Tech 49-0, which was quite the anomaly.
And Coach Adazio knows they don't need 3 points here. Clemson's going to score some points, so they need to get 7.
Tolles will back into that pistol set on 2nd and goal. Hilliman, good stop right up the middle by Kendall Joseph, the middle linebacker, a redshirt sophomore, their top tackler this season.
And Clemson is so good on defense, especially in their front seven. We talked to Coach Adazio yesterday. They're really inexperienced in the offensive line at Boston College. He knew that wasn't a very good matchup, so they're going to have to figure out how to get some explosives, maybe a trick play to get in the end zone.
Brent Venables in his 5th season, outstanding defensive coordinator. Did give up 568 yards to Louisville last week, but that was still a decent performance considering how explosive Clemson was on offense. On 3rd down, Tolles rolling, looking for the end zone, and it's incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down, and BC unable to do much with the 1st and goal. Will still have a shot at a field goal.
Scott Loeffler, the offensive coordinator for BC, was smart. He moved the pocket, trying to get outside. It was very, very difficult to get outside when you got Christian Wilkins, the big 300-pound defensive end, turning him up. But they covered him like a blanket. Brent Venables is really, really good at what he does.
So a 21-yard try for Mike Knoll, who's taken over the kicking duties, and his first field goal attempt in a few games is good. And Boston College takes advantage of the muff punt by Ray McLeod. When McLeod had that dropped punt return against Troy, loses some focus on this play, and BC cashes in to take the early lead. Boston College takes advantage of the muff punt by Ray McLeod, gets a field goal out of it. Clemson, remember, coming off that spectacular 42-36 win against Louisville, where the defense was out there for 99 snaps. Ben Boulware was out there for 95 of them. A grueling game, and Clemson looking a little unfocused to start this night. Artavis Scott takes it out to the 25-yard line, and it goes the same, Molly, for the offensive side of the football as well for Clemson.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. Deshaun Watson told me he was mentally exhausted more than anything after that Louisville game. He spent extra time in treatment and cold tubs, but he told me he feels 100% tonight. He said the key for him is to be more consistent, more disciplined in his decision-making, especially against a smart physical defense like BC.
Ben Boulware and Kendall Joseph were roommates. They said they were going to get in an ice tub last night. They were so sore.
And that's Thursday after
Thursday
Saturday
night
game.
Yeah, really a tough week for them.
From the 25-yard line, Watson swings it out for Artavis Scott. They like to use him in space. And BC rallies to the football at the 31, led by Wyatt Ray. Impact players on this side of the football, Mac.
Well, Clemson wants to run the ball tonight and be physical, so that's number 9, Wayne Gallman. Big, slashing, violent running back. They've got to establish the run. And on defense, you start looking at Connor Strahan. He's a violent player, had 12 tackles against Clemson last year in this football game, and he's got instincts, he's tough. He'll have to stop that double-headed monster tonight for Clemson.
4 receivers in the pattern here for Watson, and it's bobbled and controlled by Scott right at the sticks and has enough for the first down at the 35 in front of Ty Schwab. Artavis Scott had 10 catches against Boston College last year in a 34-17 Clemson victory. 2 years ago here at Alumni Stadium, it came right down to the wire. And had Tyler Rouse not dropped a would-be touchdown from Tyler Murphy in the end zone in the final 3 minutes, BC may have come away with a victory. Watson on the move with his feet, and he takes it to the 41-yard line. Knocked down right there by Matt Milano, the strong side linebacker. Watson last week, a season-high 91 rush yards against Louisville.
Yes, and they're going to run the ball up inside. They're going to be physical, but then he's going to get on the corner. He had a great block that time out on the corner by Taylor Hearn.
Gallman trying to find space, and there goes Wayne Gallman. The breakaway speed of the redshirt junior will get him to the end zone.
This is what happens when you've got your quarterback outside. You throw it outside, and then you run it up inside. Deshaun Watson, the lead blocker there, as he knocks it through for Gallman. Gallman's got so much speed at 210 pounds. He outruns the BC defense for an easy score. Tough for BC to get in the end zone. So easy for Clemson because they've got so much speed.
Greg Hugel on for the extra points. When Boston College upset USC in the red bandana game a couple of years ago, they held USC's run game in check. They're going to have to do that tonight against Clemson, but that's a 59-yarder for Wayne Gallman, the longest run of his season, and a score for the Tigers to take the lead.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. And Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Our Tom Rinaldi was on the BC campus yesterday discussing his book, The Red Bandana. Wells Crowther was a former Boston College lacrosse player and volunteer firefighter turned New York City equities trader who lost his life during the attacks of September 11th, but not before he encountered a group of survivors on the 78th floor of the South Tower of the World Trade Center, and he bravely guided at least a dozen of them towards safety, going back to the 78th floor multiple times to help many more people. He was later identified by the survivors through the signature red bandana he was wearing around his face that had been given to him by his father when he was 6 years old as a link between the two. His dad Jefferson and his mom Allison, as well as the Crowther family, are here for the third red bandana game. You may have seen the feature, The Man in the Red Bandana, was produced by Art Drew Gallagher, a BC grad as well. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest it. Admittedly, I watched it again last night. It was tremendously emotional. I have no shame in admitting that I cried severely watching it. Just the emotion that's involved here of obviously the helmets, the shoes, accent marks for that red bandana on the uniforms and in the crowd tonight as well, as BC takes the field for the third red bandana game. Patrick Tolles from the 25-yard line, off play action. This guy can run. He did it a lot at Kentucky, and he gets spilled at the 32.5 by Kendall Joseph, inside linebacker, after an 8-yard run.
And he's going to have to run tonight because they can't protect that big, strong, quick Clemson front. They just can't get there. Those guys are really tough, and we've got a young guy in there at left tackle, Sam Schmal, that hadn't played very much. So it's going to be a tough night for him. They're going to have to move the pocket, and they're also going to have to probably chip getting the running back to help the tackles.
Penalty marker thrown.
Number 74, 5-yard penalty, second down.
There's Jimmy Lowry, the right tackle, as Jeff McConaughey, our lead official for this ACC crew, gives us the first penalty marker of the night. BC was trying to tempo it up a little bit. Out of the huddle, they were trying to hurry up to the line and get a quick snap, and Lowry got tagged.
They've got to try to do every little thing tonight to get an advantage, and the guys have to sit in there. And one of the things Coach Adazio talked to us about yesterday, these guys know Clemson has great players. They've got great speed, so sometimes they press too hard.
On 2nd and 7. Tolles over the middle, and a good hand catch by the tight end Tommy Sweeney. About a yard shy of the line to gain in front of Ben Boulware. And Mac, you pointed it out. Sam Schmall playing in his 11th career game, redshirt sophomore out of Atlanta. Aaron Montero is the normal left tackle. He's only a sophomore too, but he got hurt in practice this week. He was dressed, and right now he's not on the field.
Now, 2 years ago, BC had an older offensive line. They lost them all. They've been rebuilding it. And you can start rebuilding it, but at BC, where you don't take a lot of transfers, you can't get junior college kids in, it's not a quick fix. It takes a while.
Can they stay on the field on 3rd down and 1? And Tolles trying to sneak it. Needs to get to the edge of the 35-yard line, so this is a crucial spot in this first quarter.
And that's 6'5", 250 pounds going forward.
And not having an easy time of it to pick up the necessary yardage either. That tells you how impressive the front is for Clemson, too.
Yes, he did go behind John Baker, who is their bell cow, their number one guy in that offensive line. But it was tough. And there's a lot of pressure on Patrick Tolles tonight because this is kind of an audition for him at his new place for the NFL.
In his final season, 22 starts at Kentucky over a couple of seasons. And a false start call for the far side. Might be against the receiver.
False start. Offense. Number 1, 5-yard penalty.
Once again, they're pressing so much. Yep. They've got to relax and play. Everybody's worried about getting a jump on that guy at Clemson's a little quicker, a little faster.
Alabama and Arkansas from Fayetteville, 7 Eastern on ESPN Saturday night primetime. BC grad Joe Tessitore along with Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe on the call for that one. Run blitz from Clemson, and buried in the backfield is Davon Jones. Dexter Lawrence timed that up beautifully, and that extra run blitz look really got the front of BC confused.
Yes, at Texas, we played against Brent Venables' Oklahoma defenses every year, and he loved the linebacker cross blitz. So he'd bring the one linebacker inside, he'd cross the other guy. It screws up your line blocking schemes. I've seen that and yelled at a whole lot of line coaches and a whole lot of offensive linemen at Texas for letting that guy come free.
Cross blitz and the double A-gap blitz, you told me, were staples of what Brent Venables does on defense.
What he loves.
Screen it out wide for Tyler Rouse, and great rally to the football by Clemson, led by the cornerback, make that safety, Van Smith.
Perfect gang tackling in space. This Clemson defense is so good.
I think I was more impressed by Clemson's performance against Georgia Tech on defense than anything else because of that triple option look. This is kind of the same method. You want to pound it against their defense, and they defended it very well on a Thursday night a few weeks ago.
Got to get some penetration against the option, and they did just that against Georgia Tech. They never let them get in the game.
Enforcing a 3rd down and long for Boston College.
Now you go man coverage.
Yep, they're only rushing 2 with a couple of spies on Tolles. Looking downfield, and with a flag throw, and he'll launch it away, and likely will be a holding penalty that would be declined by Clemson.
Boston College coaches told us they cannot get behind the chains, meaning they cannot get in 3rd down and 17, 3rd down and 10, because they can't
penalty decline, 4th down.
Schmall got tagged with that holding penalty, which again Clemson will happily decline and take the 4th down.
So you man up if you're Clemson. You're trying to block Farrell, the redshirt freshman, that's 6'5", huge, he can run, and you just can't possibly do that with a young offensive tackle in Schmall.
So McLeod, who has muffed the punt, will grab this one at the 30, no fair catch, and he gets drilled right there by Matt Milano. So we talked about the incredible story of Wells Crowther. We go down to Molly McGrath with some very special guests.
That's right. I'm here with the parents of the man in the red bandana, the Crowthers, and this community honors your son every year with the red bandana game. How meaningful is it for you to see thousands of people share in his memory?
It's an incredible experience for us. The Boston College has been such a huge support of our son's legacy, a man for others. It supports their motto for the university. We've met with the Clemson people, and they are just as excited about Wells as BC is. It's really beautiful. And the American Heroes Channel has partnered with Boston College to establish the Red Bandana Award to recognize an everyday hero living today for the good work that they do. So, and ESPN has been always so wonderfully supportive. It's just, it's really hard to put into words how very much this means to our entire family.
And I hear that you met Clemson's head coach, Dabo Swinney, before the game. Can you please tell me about that?
Yes, we did. He was very gracious. He presented us not only with beautiful, kind words about our son and how inspired his team is, but also he presented us with a team helmet signed by all the players and not just signatures, wonderful words of love for Wells as well.
Well, thank you so much for your time and enjoy the game. Adam, back to you.
Molly, we really appreciate that interview. We sincerely appreciate Jefferson and Allison joining us tonight as well. I can't even imagine, but the way they carry themselves with their pride and their grief coming together to show off the incredible legacy of their son is truly admirable.
And he was an American hero. Period.
Incredible story. Clemson, after the penalty against Strahan, puts it on the ground with Adam Choice to about the 44-yard line. Picks up 5 yards. Second down. BC got a field goal after Clemson muffed a punt. BC had first and goal, ended up only getting 3 points out of it. And then Dabo Swinney's running back, Wayne Gallman, put together the longest rush of the season by a Clemson Tiger, a 59-yarder, to put the Tigers in front here in the first. Watson taking a shot. Separation and a diving attack by Mike Williams. First and goal. Clemson, rack it up for your highlight reel tonight. 50 yards.
We said this guy can do it all. He throws it to Mike Williams. The coaches told us he could be the impact player of this game, because when Boston College stacks the box, it goes one-on-one. They've got to be able to hit the deep ball to score against man coverage.
Will they review this play? And now we get the whistle.
The ruling on the field of a completed pass is under further review.
So you can understand why they would want to take a second look at this. Tom Zamorski is our replay official. Samuel Dudich is our communicator, and they will get a second look at this. Watch the ball, obviously, when Williams is going down to the ground. Is there movement? Remember that the ruling on the field was a completed catch, so if there's no indisputable video evidence to overturn the catch, then this will stand and it'll be first and goal. I don't see anything indisputable to overturn it right now.
Sure looks like a catch for me, unless you're a Boston College fan.
Understandable.
The Boston College coaches would say it hit the ground and moved a little bit, but I don't think so.
Do you survive the hit to the ground? Obviously, do you have possession of the football, and do you maintain that possession through the hit to the ground? That might have been our best look at it. They do put the replays up on the video boards here at Alumni Stadium, so naturally the fans will react as they will.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
So that means no indisputable video evidence to overturn the catch.
It's funny, on the video replay, all the Clemson fans says it's a catch. All the Boston College fans said he dropped it.
Of course,
the ground
clearly
knocked it loose.
So it ends up being the longest pass play of the season for Clemson at 50 yards after the drive where they had the longest rush of their season so far.
It's where they're so hard to defend. You got Gallman inside. You got Deshaun Watson running and throwing, but he can also throw it deep.
And now they spread it out with Watson in the empty, set for a draw play. And trying to outrun the Boston College defense to the pylon. He will for a touchdown. A penalty marker is thrown. If it stands, it would be Watson's first rushing touchdown this season.
Legal block in the back. During the run, number 8 offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Deon Cain will negate the touchdown. The block in the back, sophomore out of Tampa. There is a bit of a shorthandedness to the wide receiving core. Hunter Renfrow is still out, dealing with that broken bone in his right hand. He injured against Troy. But you still have so many weapons in Williams and Scott and McLeod and Kane, and Jordan Leggett at tight end last week got involved heavily against Louisville. So all those weapons that you were talking about, Mac, they're there and then some.
They are there, and they're 2 deep and 3 deep, and that's frustrating for Boston College because they had the quarterback draw.
The illegal block in the back penalty occurred in the end zone. The enforcement to be 10 yards from the goal line. First down.
They had it defensed perfectly. They were in perfect position. They had him boxed in. He still jumps out and scores.
So you see 8 in white just kind of shoving. It was a pretty light one, but there was contact with Isaac Yidom, the cornerback, who was trying to get to the edge. So Kane gets tagged with that penalty.
Just leave him alone. That quarterback's going to score anyway.
Yep. So it is Watson on the keep. And good rally to the ball on the perimeter by John Johnson and Harold Landry. 2 guys that I think are going to be incredibly important for BC's defense on the edge.
Yeah, these 2 guys are both NFL guys. Landry's the best pass rusher. He's very athletic. And Johnson's one of the best defensive backs in the ACC. These guys are well coached. You can see why they're number 1 in the country.
On the 4-man rush, Watson to the end zone for Leggett, incomplete. Trying to get more involvement from Jordan Leggett, who was so crucial in the final minutes of that game against Louisville last week. 3rd down and goal.
Trying to match him up against Milano inside. 2 really good football players. He has him beat inside, and the ball's just too high. Deshaun's got to get it down. Had a chance to have a touchdown there. Again, after an emotional game, you're just a little bit off on offense. That's why you got to play so good on defense and let your offense wake up a little bit.
It is a crucial 3rd and goal here in the first quarter. Watson to Williams, and it is caught! Touchdown Clemson, Mike Williams bringing it down. 6'3", 225 pounds, reaching high over Gabriel McClary.
Really good play call. Little slant and go. It's a double move. He faked it to him, throws it up high, get it into the eyes or above in the goal line. Williams jumps over McCleary for the score. Good play call, better execution.
So Greg Hugel is on for the extra point. A hold to the field goal would have been huge for Clemson to keep it at potentially a 7-point game. Instead, it is now a 2-score game and an 11-point lead. And Mike Williams was the star of the drive, the longest pass play of the season on a full extension grab. And then on the fade route with the double move, reaching over the top to snare it. Mike Will made it a touchdown, and it's 14-3. Hey, nice win for Indiana last week. They knocked down Michigan State on the road, and now they got an even tougher test because Ohio State is looking like a world beater right now. They've beaten Indiana 20 in a row, and they're blowing teams out. Saturday at 3:30 on ESPN, the ESPN app. Brock Heward, Allison Williams, and a BC grad, Bob Wischusen, on the call tomorrow.
And don't think for a minute that they haven't used that win over Michigan State last week to get these Ohio State guys excited.
Absolutely.
Super win for Kevin Wilson in Indiana.
Hugel for Miles Willis, and out to the 25-yard line. Clemson getting big plays tonight over the top.
They can run it. They can throw it. They protected the blitz. They're against man-free coverage. You can see William Harris, number 8, the free safety. He starts and opens to Mike Williams. Turns back to the inside. Then he can't get back deep, and what a throw by Deshaun Watson. He's the whole package. I can see why people are talking about him maybe being the best player in America. He can run. He can throw. He's a great leader. and he's got the ability to throw the deep ball, which is hard for quarterbacks to do.
So from the 25-yard line, Patrick Tolles recognizing the pressure that Clemson shows. And Clemson backs off. Why, I love this chess match. What a play by Cordray Tankersley, the cornerback, came charging in for the TFL. But Tolles checks, and then Kendall Joseph checks, and they make the play.
Yeah, what a great game plan they've got here. The linebackers are up inside, and they come back. It's an unbalanced line. They bring Tankersley from outside, and he penetrates and hits the tailback before he can get to the line of scrimmage.
Brent Venables has this team on defense coached up so well. On the ground, they go right back to Davon Jones, who's had a breakout run these last couple of weeks, but only 3 yards running into Kendall Joseph. Davon Jones came to Boston College as a defensive back, and then he redshirted last year, moves to running back, 90 yards against Wagner, and then he had his first career touchdown against Buffalo last week. So trying to add a little bit of punch to John Hilleman and the rest of the running back crew.
Yes, they said he hit the ground running, which I guess he would as a defensive back, but now you're back in a 3rd down and 8. With a lot of problems up front trying to protect. So will Clemson come after them? I think here they probably play man coverage and drop 8.
They've only got 3 down linemen here. And a typically 4-3 defense, and that's all they rush. So Tolles trying to find a window. And he rockets one up the sideline, but he was looking for the tight end Tommy Sweeney, who could not corral it in bounds. Just 1 first down for Boston College so far on 4 possessions.
They have not given Patrick Towles a chance to set his feet.
Nope.
And they haven't allowed him to use his feet to make a first down. So Clemson's defense has dominated this game so far. And I promise you, Ray's going to look it in because Coach Sweeney has been on him
on the side,
ever since that ball was dropped.
Short punt here by Mike Knoll, who's handling all of the kicking duties, and it takes a great Clemson bounce back towards midfield. So it ends up being a net punt of just 24 yards. Big games tomorrow. Alabama, Arkansas, Florida State, Miami. You've got the noon games coming up too that are going to be major games. Auburn and Mississippi State sliding over to ESPN. So you can watch all of it on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. You can download the app or go to watchespn.com today. But a major slate tomorrow. Feels like a lot of separation could happen, especially when we get to nighttime in the ACC and the SEC.
Another great day of college football. Arkansas always gives Alabama a tough time at their place. You've got Auburn going on the road. Mississippi State's hungry. They've struggled a little bit early.
Great field position, and Watson with the pop pass for Leggett. He had the go-ahead touchdown in the final minutes against Louisville, and his slick move will get him into the end zone for another long play. This now the longest pass play of the season for Clemson of 56 yards. The third 50-plus yard play already for the Tigers, and don't look now, but this is starting to go the way a lot of folks here in Chestnut Hill were dreading. He's good. Deshaun Watson's good.
He is. They run it up inside. They throw it outside. They run it outside. They play action because they fake Gallman up inside. He pulls the linebacker, dumps it over his head for the long score. Very hard to defend.
3 huge plays for the Clemson offense. Short week, no problem. Deshaun Watson came into this week's official Heismanology poll from Joe Tessitore at number 3 behind Lamar Jackson, who, by the way, got 100% of the first place votes. That's never happened, according to Joe Tess, in the 8 years that they've been polling, and these are actual Heisman voters. It has never happened that through week 5, one guy got 100% of the first place votes. Lamar Jackson got them. Then it's Barrett. Then it's Watson. And I'm sure Deshaun Watson's going, hey, don't forget about your boy right now, because he's putting on a show tonight. Here's Miles Willis on the return. He gets stacked up shy of the 20-yard line. And the defense for Clemson has stepped up tonight as well in a short week.
Yeah, you win championships with defense. You got to be great on both sides of the ball. This is the blitz that Brent Venables used at Oklahoma for so much success, where he crosses the linebackers, he pulls the block up of the guard in, brings the outside linebacker around, and then he shows the same blitz, but they back out. and he brings Tankersley from the corner, backside of unbalanced line with a short corner, and hits the back in the backfield before he can get started.
I mean, between Ben Boulware and Kendall Joseph, and let's not forget Dorian O'Daniel, it's a very good linebacking core. And they're missing some guys right now. Jalen Williams has been out since the Georgia Tech game with a sprained MCL. So Tolles only picks up about 1.5 yards, 2 yards on that first down run. A defense that leads the ACC in takeaways. They've got a really good front seven with NFL talent laced across. So how do you counteract that if you're Patrick Tolles in BC right now?
Well, you've got to try to use max protection and get some one-on-ones, but the corners are faster than the BC receivers.
We'll keep it on the ground here with Hilliman. And he'll surge to about the 25-yard line. So you put yourself in a 3rd down and 4. Maybe it's a long 4, but still it's 3rd down and 4. And these are yards that you have to pick up if you're BC. You got to stay on the field at this point.
You do, and you're on the right hash. You're probably going to sprint to the left, and we've got an offensive lineman down for BC, which John Baker, their center, their bell cow, their best offensive lineman is limping off the field, which is not good again for BC.
That's the center.
You're probably going to try to get on the corner, away from the inside blitz. Try to get in some space where Tolles can run it or throw it. They've got some backups in there for Clemson in the front line right now. And it's hard for BC to block them as well. When you're too deep, it's really, really tough.
So on 3rd down and short, underneath on the slant, and it's incomplete. Jeff Smith could not corral it. Had some pressure coming in from Ryan Carter, but that brings up 4th down.
Well, and Jeff Smith just moved from quarterback to wide receiver in the spring. This is his first huge game. You got Patrick Tolles, who's like a rookie. He comes in here from Kentucky. Scott Leffler's trying to teach him every day. So this is a hard test for them.
Knoll punts it away to McLeod, trying to get it to the sideline. Good directional kick to try to flip the field, but not much on it. A 34-yarder.
That's the end of the first quarter. Timeout.
So that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. Last week, Clemson had 6 touchdown drives. All of them were less than 3 minutes. Tonight, 3 touchdown drives. All of them less than 3 minutes. The explosiveness has not dropped off. And through 1 in Chestnut Hill. It's all Clemson so far.
You start looking at Clemson tonight. They're so hard to stop. You've got Gallman up inside. Guy can fly, and he's 210 pounds, so you got to stop the run. Then you've got your drop back guy with good protection, man-to-man coverage. He hits Williams at 6'3", and then he fakes it up inside to Gallman. It frees the tight end Leggett for an easy 58-yard touchdowns. 3 touchdowns over the last 8 snaps for Clemson. They're so hard to stop.
So 3 50-plus yard plays tonight, and all of those drives, the scoring drives, ending in less than 3 minutes, and that was all 6 touchdown drives against Louisville last week. 5 of the 6 last week were inside of a minute. And that's the type of explosiveness that you just don't see, even with the best offensive teams on a consistent basis. Coleman takes it for 6.
It also shows you that time of possession is very unimportant anymore with all these spread up-tempo offenses.
You know 2 teams that it's going to matter to: Arkansas tomorrow night and BC tonight.
Absolutely.
They were hoping for it tonight as Gallman gets another first down into BC territory at the 45.
Well, and Jim Reed's got a nightmare night. Do you try to put them all in the box and stop and leave them man coverage, which obviously hasn't worked? Or do you spread out and try to stop the run? Goldman's had 2 really good runs to start these 2 series.
And the first-year defensive coordinator who picked up right where Don Brown left off last year. Don Brown led this team to the top statistical ranking in the country. Landry got a piece of Watson. Ball's loose, but Clemson has it back behind midfield. And a good save by Tyrone Crowder, the redshirt junior, to jump back on top of it for the Tigers.
Yeah, Harold Landry's so quick. Number 7 at the bottom of your screen. He beats the big tackle for Clemson. He gets back there. He's already had 5.5 sacks on the year. This guy's had 11 tackles last year against Florida State. Really good football player.
Checking on Tremaine Ankrum, the freshman out of Powder Springs, Georgia, as we check in with Molly.
Yeah, Harold Landry is playing with more freedom and confidence this season. You can see that tonight. And he told me that he relied too much on play calling last year. Now he focuses more on trusting himself. He's developed his pass rushing abilities and stressed that he excels when he's allowed to get to the quarterback and is confident in his ability with those one-on-one matchups, guys.
Molly, he also has Paul Pasqualoni
Yep.
as his coach, who's the winningest coach in the Big East. He's one of the best coaches in college football. He's coached in the pros. He was head coach at Syracuse for a long time. He's head coach at Connecticut. This guy knows what he's doing. He wanted to move his family back. He hired Steve Adazio at Syracuse. They're very close. And when he left the Texans a year ago, Steve said, come on up here and help me.
Yep.
And he's having a blast coaching these young guys on the defensive line, and they love being coached by Paul Pasqualoni.
And not only did he hire him at Syracuse, but he basically started Steve Adazio's coaching career. Steve's 57 years old. He played at Central Connecticut. And look at this, Western Connecticut State. Then moving on to Syracuse, where these two were together for a significant portion of time. And obviously, Paul Pasqualoni had a phenomenal run, as good as anybody's, this side of the Hall of Famer Dick McPherson at Syracuse. And these two go back a long ways.
Those two are two of the better football coaches in college football. And I know they're the hardest workers because I've been around Paul, and he never slept.
He popped into the facilities yesterday, saw you, and lit up like a Christmas tree. Although, to be fair, we all kind of light up every time we get a chance to see you. To the 49-yard line, Watson running into Ray Smith, and it'll be 3rd down and long.
That was quarterback draw. If you're Clemson now, you're smart. You've got your screens, you got your draws. You trust your quarterback because he's older. You can take a shot here and hope you complete it, or you end up getting a pass interference call. Got a lot of playbook here trying to get down for at least a field goal.
You don't say that for 3rd and 16 very often, but Clemson's got it. They're looking downfield, and Watson past the sticks was a foot down for Kane. Out of bounds, incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th down. Deion Kane trying to snare it, get that foot down, but he's still pleading his case, and see if the punt unit comes on, and they will. And Deion Kane going airborne and clearly out of bounds.
That's those assistant coaches up top. Coach, it's in! It's in! Coach! Stop the game, let me see it. And then it's not. And I said, what are you looking at? I think you wanted it to be in. It's not in.
I wonder if your old friend Greg Davis is watching this right now, picturing you two going back and forth.
He has heard me a few times. In fact, Jim Reed, the defensive coordinator at BC, was at Iowa last year, and he called Greg and Bobby Kennedy yesterday to say hello.
We'll step aside here, 13 to go.
Back here in beautiful Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, Clemson is up 21-3, and it's not looking good for the Eagles as BC's leader of their offensive line, John Baker, screamed in frustration as medical training staff looked at his left ankle. They took off his brace, and he was in obvious pain when they put pressure on the ankle, and he limped off under his own power and is back in the locker room for further evaluation. But Adam, BC does not give injury updates.
He's in his 28th career game, Molly, and a junior out of Massachusetts is going to be replaced on that front line by Jim Cashman, who is in his 29th game. Started the first 3 games at guard this year, now sliding over to center to give to Patrick Tolles. On 1st down, gives to Davon Jones. And gets dragged down by Dorian O'Daniel after a decent 6-yard run.
And fans would ask why Boston College is slowing it down and huddling up and running the ball. They can't pass protect, so they've got to get ahead of the chains. They've got to get some 2nd and 5s like this. They're sitting here 2nd and 4. They've got to get some 2nd and 3, 3rd and 2, so they're manageable downs and they can stay on the field.
And it's up to this offensive line to get the push for BC. With a young left tackle in Schmall and with a backup center right now in Cashman up front. Run blitz from Clemson. And Jones trying to find a hole, and he ran into Van Smith close to the sticks. It will depend on the spot here. It looks like it's about a half-yard short.
Ran a zone, had a little cutback, had some misdirection. People say, why don't you run the ball and get some trick plays? Why don't you drop back and throw it every time? If you're not blocking them in the running game, none of the other stuff is going to work. You've got to establish something.
Trying to push the pile, enough for the 1st down there. Tolles on that sneak. gets the second BC first down of the night.
And people have to understand, when you lose John Baker, he sets all your protections. He communicates to all the other linemen. He's a guy that Boston College couldn't afford to lose at center.
So now I would imagine it's up to Tolles even further to try to help out with protection, something that he's had to make the change to doing this year.
It is, and he's a new quarterback, so he's kind of a rookie himself.
Here's a little bit of trickery on the end around for Jeff Smith, the former quarterback with BC's best offensive play, and he puts a forearm into Van Smith as he works into Clemson territory.
They faked this play the last time when they ran the zone play, so they faked the zone up inside. Jeff Smith comes around. He's got the H-back coming around to help him block on the corner. Wolford, really good block. Jeff Smith showing his speed and ability to get on the outside. I would think we'll probably see a pass off that same play before the night's over.
A 26-yard play. Tolles with the throwback screen to Sweeney. And Tommy Sweeney, with good pursuit from the backside, gets chased down after about 7 yards or so. Good job by Farrell, the redshirt freshman out of Virginia, to chase him down.
And what a play by Patrick Tolles. He sprints to his right. He's got the big freshman all over him. And Dexter Lawrence is right in his face. He falls back. He hits the tight end. Good play calls here by Scott Leffler. You can see power run, misdirection, cutback, misdirection sweep, and now throwback screen.
So while it's not trick plays by the sense that the layman would understand it, these are plays that are trying to get some spark going. Hilleman working his way to the 35 into Kendall Joseph.
What a good play by Kendall Joseph, keeping his shoulder square, shuffling, staying behind the block of the protection of his big defensive tackle, and stepping up to make the play for very little gain.
Scott Leffler, 41 years of age, the last 3 years under Frank Beamer as the offensive coordinator, now sliding over here. He's done a lot with new quarterbacks. He's had seemingly new quarterbacks at just about every job he's had and every place he's gone to. Tolles underneath, incomplete. Looking for Davon Jones out of the backfield, and Dorian O'Daniel with a good defensive play to shut it down. And BC's offense might stay out here on 4th and 2.
Well, I agree. Coach Adazio's got to show confidence in his offense. He's got to make some plays to keep the offense on the field because their defense is getting worn out. Scott Leffler was actually the offensive coordinator in the Michigan game when we played them in our first Rose Bowl, in the 05 Rose Bowl. Last time he had a quarterback back-to-back years like Chad Henning.
5 of 8 on 4th down this year is BC. Tolles to throw. Bullets one from Michael Walker, and he's got the first down at the 30-yard line. A clutch catch by the sophomore to keep the BC offense on the field. So Steve Adazio keeping the offense out there, and they cash in.
You can see some cross stunts by the defensive lineman going in and out. Good protection that time by the BC line. Patrick Tolles sits in there. Head coach feels good when he says, let's go for it. I have enough confidence in you guys to make it, and they make it. It's a really good job by Steve Adazio, letting his team be aggressive.
Faking the handoff, faking the end around, and downfield up the seam. It is caught by Sweeney. The sophomore out of New Jersey with a big play to set up 1st and goal for BC.
Really good sequence of play calls here by Scott Leffler. You can see Coach Sweeney's not very happy about it, but he set all these plays up perfectly. Faked the reverse to Jeff Smith that time. Then he faked the first time. He ran the second time. Then he hits his big tight end down the middle on the crossing route because the linebackers are losing their eye discipline and playing the reverse. I like the play calls.
This will be the 10th play of the Boston College drive. Jones pushing the pile and down to the 3-yard line. Van Smith and Kendall Joseph are there. So here we go, Max. 2nd down and goal. You want to stay in this game if you're BC. This is touchdown territory right now. Maybe not necessarily for the score, but for the confidence of this team.
Absolutely. You're going to go 4 downs.
Clemson.
And Clemson will use a timeout. Brent Venables will talk about it defensively.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And Sherwin-Williams, make the most of your color with the very best paint.
So Semper Canine takes rescued and donated dogs and trains them to assist with military members who are coming back from service duty. Chris Beatty is the veteran Marine Corps kennel master and the founder of Semper Canine. He is the Red Bandana Hero Award recipient. As we told you, it is the Red Bandana game. Wells Crowther's family now awards the Red Bandana Hero Award, and Chris Beatty is the very deserving recipient of the award here tonight in Chestnut Hill. And on an extended Boston College drive, this being the 11th play, encompassing over 5 minutes, BC trying to cash in with a touchdown. Got second and goal.
Adam, they've got 3 tight ends in the game. So now they're either going to pound, but they're splitting one of the tight ends out. You're either going to pound or you're going to move the quarterback in a run-pass situation. Brought the tight end back in the backfield. 3 tight ends.
And they'll give it to Jones. His survey's looking for the hole. And he looks like he's shy of the goal line. Christian Wilkins, one of the excellent men on that front four for Clemson. First man there on the stop. Dabo Swinney was getting after his defense during that timeout. Now third down and goal.
Yeah, you have to be careful. It was so easy to get ahead, and it looks like it's going to be a blowout. This Boston College team isn't going to quit. Clemson cannot go to sleep.
Tolles on the sneak, surging forward. No signal yet. What's the verdict? BC believes it has a touchdown. And where is Tolles on the bottom of that pile? And ruled short. So now it's 4th down, and I mean inches to get to the goal line. And how do you not go for it if you're BC?
Oh, you have to go for it. And I say you go quarterback sneak, because you got a 250-pound quarterback that runs 4.4, even though you got those big hogs up inside.
On the snap, Tolles lost it. A penalty marker was thrown, and Clemson takes over. Cleland Farrell jumped on top of that loose ball. We'll check this flag.
Offside. Defense, number 25. Half the distance to the goal, 4th down.
And that is a break for BC as Cordray Tankersley was in the neutral zone.
Well, it's another focus mistake. Coach Swinney is going to be so mad because that's huge. That's points. That may be the most important 4-inch penalty in the history of college football. Half the distance, 4 inches. And I don't think they'll take it away from the line of scrimmage again. I think we see a quarterback sneak with a big guy.
Fumble on the exchange. Tolles gets stopped. The timing of the play got thrown off. And once again, Clemson's defense comes up clutch. Chad Smith coming in for the goal line stop.
Adam, as you look at this, you've got a new center, you've got a new quarterback. The exchange wasn't good. He's starting to turn, and he pulled out to pitch it on the sweep. And Coach Swinney's popped. Great stop by the defense. Now you got sudden change. Boston College defense got to step up, hold them down here, get the short punt, and go back and try to get points. Very discouraging for Coach Adazio and Boston College.
A 13-play drive that comes away with no points. And now here is Gallman. He lost his footing as he tried to make that big cut to get him out of the shadow of their own 5-yard line.
You can have exchange problems with a new center so quickly. He's young. He leaves too quickly. It's a problem that every head coach in America and offensive coordinator worries about.
And we said it, Jim Cashman taking over for John Baker at center for BC. There are a couple of issues on snaps inside the 5. Gallman again will give him forward progress past the 5, and now it's 3rd down.
Yeah, big decision for Jim Reed. Does he come after him? He's got to stop him here, get the short field, and go back and take some momentum back because they had an outstanding drive. It's exactly who they wanted to be tonight. They were keeping the ball. They needed points to cut it to 21-10, but this is a huge play for Boston College to try to get a stop and get the ball back.
Watson moving the launch point. He can run it too. And he's going to try to get to the first down marker. Ty Schwab got him by the ankles and held him up about a yard shy of the line to gain.
What an effort play by Ty Schwab. You chase him, one of the faster players in America. You know it's a critical first down. That guy is smart. He's tough. He's instinctive. But I can promise you Deshaun Watson is faster than he is. But that young man was not going to let Deshaun Watson make that first down. What a play.
So Andy Teasdall will punt it away from his own end zone with Tyler Rouse back to return. And Rouse with a fair catch in plus territory, a 38-yard kick. BC went 79 yards in 6.5 minutes last touch, but they did not score. They have great field position next. End of the last BC drive, crucial play, 4th down and goal. The bobbled snap by Tolles on the snap given by Jim Cashman, the backup center. Mac was telling me about this in the break. He kind of pulled his head to the right while Tolles is trying to pull the ball out to the left. Scott Pagano comes in and kind of pushes him back, and then Tolles kind of owns up to the mistake. Why was that so important? The head turn and the Tolles going the other way.
Well, it's so hard because you're reaching to the right, and that's what makes it so difficult.
Reverse here, Jeff Smith. This time a good rundown by Boulware on a strong run of about 5 yards. So kind of break that down for me, that snap a little bit.
Your center's trying to reach hard to his right because it's going to be a sweep out to the right. Your quarterback is pulling out to his left and turning to pitch the ball.
So they're going
so
opposite
actually you're
directions already.
separating, and they haven't worked together a lot because you've got a new center because John Baker went out earlier. It's a very, very difficult thing when you haven't taken a lot of snaps with a young center to run the sweep when you're covered.
Hilliman chopping his feet, searching for the hole, and he gets to the 42-yard line.
And those guys covering you from Clemson are not little.
Scott Pagano, who pushed him back, 6'3", 295. So
yeah, from Hawaii. So he had his full attention. It's hard to reach to the right and still have the quarterback pull out to the left and not drop the ball. I've seen it so many times. I've seen that ball fumbled so much as a head coach. That's why I quit running that play in short yardage.
Motioning Smith into the backfield here. Run blitz again from Clemson. Smith, the former quarterback, will throw back to Tolles. Makes the catch, and he's got the first down. A heart-pounding pickup of the first down. Only 5 yards, but that'll keep the offense out of the field.
When both those guys were competing at quarterback in the spring, Jeff throws the ball back to Patrick Tolles, and Patrick looks like the receiver. He turns inside, catches the ball, turns it up. But you're seeing Scott Loeffler turn it loose now. We've seen 2 series where he knows he can't just line up and run the ball. He's going to have to pull everything out of his bag of tricks.
Off the fake, under pressure, Tolles grabbed, wrapped up. Farrell brings him down. Back at the 40. Career sack number 3 for Clelin Ferrell.
Clelin Ferrell is killing them. 6'5", 265-pound redshirt freshman. Comes right between the 2 offensive linemen on the left side for Boston College. Runs back and throws Patrick Tolles to the ground. That was a throwback. He was trying to fake a sweep, run to his right, and throw the throwback down to the left side. Just didn't have time to get it off. That young man's having a heck of a night.
Alabama has escaped Arkansas a couple of times. You'll see him at 7 Eastern tomorrow night on ESPN. Deep drop, deep routes. Somebody's got to be downfield. It was Walker, but a great play to break it up by Jadar Johnson. However, a penalty marker comes flying in. And this could be against the senior out of Orangeburg, South Carolina. Johnson already has 3 interceptions this season. The nation's leaders, a handful of gentlemen, have 4 to lead the country.
There is no foul for pass interference. Third down.
Seemed like he got there right on time with the football, so I'm not surprised that they picked the flag up there.
I thought he timed it perfectly. As we look at it, he got right there. Now, if his hand was on the back of the head, the official probably couldn't see it. That's why I do think things should go up top, because I do think it was pass interference, but the official on that side probably couldn't see it. And Jadar knows he got by with one, so he's got a little smile on his face right now.
So you'd like to see pass interference become a reviewable play?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If it changes the game, you want the team that's playing the best to win.
Three-man rush against Tolles on third down and long, and that three-man rush still gets to him. It is Christian Wilkins. Happy homecoming for the Massachusetts native.
They were thin at defensive end, so they dropped him from 350 to 310, I think, and put him out there. They showed blitz. Again, outstanding play call by Brent Venerables. It confuses the young offensive line of Boston College. They can't block them. When you can get a sack with a three-man rush, it's not good.
So Mike Knoll kicking away. And it will bounce inside the 15. Undefeated Clemson trying to get to 6-0 for the fourth time under Dabo Swinney. They've got a big lead in the first half.
Coming up on the Lexus Halftime Report, I'm Adnan Burke as Danny Cannell and Joey Galloway will give their thoughts on Clemson's hot start so far. Also, they're talking about ACC coastal quarterbacks, why Danny believes that Mitch Trubisky is a dark horse Heisman candidate. Joey's thoughts on Brad Kaya, and also game day weighing in from College Station. Big matchup between Tennessee and Texas A&M. All that more coming up the half. Adam, back to you.
Oh man, Adnan, Danny and Joey will all see you at the halftime break. Clemson with a rough go of it so far, despite the fact that they've had the football for nearly 20 minutes. This is what Clemson did last week. Quick strike offense, big play offense. And they were able to get the win against Louisville a week ago. It's more of the same so far through nearly a full half.
Well, and if you're Boston College and you're trying to be positive, 19 plays for Clemson have gone 54 yards. The three big plays for touchdown is what they've got to stop to try to hang in this game.
Yeah, Clemson hasn't had success grinding out drives necessarily against BC. It's been the big plays. Watson, little jump pass as the pocket collapsed. Incomplete. Zach Allen was in his face. Sophomore out of Connecticut to bring up third down. BC's got all three of its timeouts. It will be BC ball to start the second half as well.
Pressure from just a four-man look. He steps up inside. Got him on his heels a little bit. Big Zach Allen, big tall youngster, right in his face.
Little misdirection here, and C.J. Fuller trying to get the necessary yardage, but he'll get tagged by Cavalack. Shy of the line to gain, and BC will use a timeout with 94 seconds left.
Good call by Jeff Scott, because it's a draw, and you don't want to turn the ball over if you're Clemson, because they're playing so good on defense.
He said a misdirection that time.
Starts to the left. Looks like he's going to sprint out. It's a delayed draw. Kevin Cavalack, 93, playing really good up front with his hands. We talked about Paul Pasqualoni as the defensive line coach, one of the best in the country. And I can assure fans that because of Steve Addazio and Paul Pasqualoni and Jim Reed, these guys are not going to let this football team quit. They will continue to play till the end of this ball game. You've got to try to get some points, though, right before the half if you're Boston College. You've been in the red zone twice, Adam. You have a field goal on the first opportunity. Second time you fumble at the 4-inch line. You've got to get some points here as you're going in before the half, and you have all your timeouts.
BC has had good returns the last few weeks, but penalties have killed them, including getting rid of a kick return touchdown. Rouse will let this one bounce. And a decent Teasdall roll inside the 35 to flip the field. So we talked about number 1 Alabama, number 16 Arkansas, biggest test of the season so far for these two teams, it feels like right now. 5th time that they're meeting when they're both ranked. So a big game here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The Tide have won 17 in a row going back to last season. A little more balance from Arkansas this season, so we'll see if they can maintain that Alabama defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt said that Austin Allen is the best quarterback that Alabama has faced so far this season. That was from Joe Tessitore, who's in the meetings today. On 1st down and 10, there goes Rouse, and a powerful run from Tyler Rouse out across the 45-yard line.
Great job up inside by the senior, Tyler Rouse. He's a captain. Now they're going to go no huddle, 1 minute offense, trying to get down and get points, take some momentum into halftime.
Still have 2 timeouts with which to work. Delayed blitz coming on Tolles, and into a tight window, it's Sweeney for another 1st down.
Last 5 minutes of the half is critical. Coach Sweeney does not want Clemson to give them points going into half, and then they take the ball coming back out.
Low snap. Tolles recoils and launches, taking a deep shot downfield, and it is broken up. Great play by Marcus Edmond, who had that big play against James Quick to close out the Louisville game last week. He's able to deflect that ball away from Smith.
Here's Edmond as a junior. We haven't even heard of some of these guys, and they come off the bench. He's a backup, jumps up and knocks it loose. Clemson does not have to rebuild. These guys have done one of the best jobs in the country of just replacing the guys and going right back to being the great team they were last year. Just new faces, same results.
Delayed blitz again on Tolles, who pumps and launches. Dangerous pass late to the sideline, and it's incomplete for Walker. You don't want to throw late. You don't want to throw late to the sideline. He did both those things and nearly got a huge gain out of it.
Well, and Joe Rich got one-on-one blocking along with Carlos Watkins, big defensive lineman from Clemson, and that's unfair. He can't block him one-on-one. Britt Venables is doing a good job of looking like he's going to bring 5-man pressure to get him one-on-one blocking and then backing out, and still making some of the Boston College linemen try to protect against guys that are just better than them.
BC 3 for 11 on 3rd down so far. 5 in the pattern, underneath to Davon Jones. Can he get to the sticks? He will. 1st down out to the 29-yard line. Kendall Joseph chased him down, but it is enough to move the chains. So 32 seconds left. The clock does stop to move those chains. Still 2 timeouts with which to work for Boston College. Tolles. He's able to break contain. He's going to stay in bounds, and Ben Boulware absolutely jarred him, and then a flag comes flying in at the end of the play near the 25-yard line. Patrick Tolles got outside and then ran into Ben Boulware when he made that cut. I think I saw Dabo Sweeney mouth, he's a runner. And Tolles was well past the line of scrimmage, and indeed that is the case. I didn't see any indication of a slide.
Targeting. Defense number 10. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
And I think Dabo Sweeney and the coaching staff are arguing he just pushed him, but if it's forcible contact above the shoulders, that can be ruled as targeting. They may take this up. This is very close. This is incredibly close. And this is going to be maybe one of the toughest targeting calls we see in college football through the first 6 weeks.
When I'm looking at it, if sitting here, I would think it's shoulder to shoulder.
I feel like almost the reaction was a little worse, or made it seem a little bit worse than it really was. It looked like shoulder pad to me personally.
We've got to remember these are great athletes down there, and things are moving so fast, sometimes the official just can't see everything. I think Coach Sweeney's trying to help him. He's in that huddle. He's talking to him. But that's why I love the new rules where we go upstairs and let the guys upstairs take numerous looks from different angles so they can make the proper decision.
So Tom Zamorski is the replay official. There's a couple of things to take a look at, too, because the quarterback Tolles lost the football as well. So now there would also be a personal foul penalty. You can take the targeting penalty off, but there's already a personal foul penalty on there. So you'd still tack on the flag. You're not picking up the 15 yards. It's going to be a penalty regardless.
Well, and credit to big Dexter Lawrence. The guy's 6'5", 340. He's one of the best freshmen in the country last year. He was an early enrollee. So when the ball pops out, that big man is right down there to catch it in the air. And he looks like a running back as he's getting ready to turn around.
Again, you cannot take the personal foul penalty off if you threw the personal foul flag. You can remove the targeting, and if you and I were making the call, I feel like we'd take the targeting off. But it's still going to be a personal foul penalty, and it's going to be BC ball with a first down.
Absolutely, and Clemson does not need to lose Ben Boulware.
Okay, absolutely not. National Defensive Player of the Week, according to the writers, after what was a sterling defensive performance in a very crucial game.
18 tackles last week. It's impossible. A fumble recovery, a deflection.
So again, targeting is forcible contact above the shoulders. That looked like shoulder contact from Boulware. Now the ball came out loose, but the flag was thrown anyway for a personal foul with targeting. You can remove the targeting, but you cannot take the personal foul flag away from that play.
And your quarterback becomes a runner, and he was not trying to slide. So that would be the other part of this that's very important.
Yeah, I think at one point Dabo Swinney was arguing, well, he's not a runner, but that had little to do with the penalty perhaps being thrown.
Yeah, he's not defenseless. I mean, he was running. And I'm impressed with Patrick Tolles and the way he's fighting as a quarterback.
This is taking a long time. I would imagine they're making sure that the personal foul penalty is still intact. I would imagine that's why this is taking as long as it is.
After further review, there is no targeting. Number 10 is not disqualified. The result of the play is a fumble recovered by Clemson at the 24-yard line, first down.
So Clemson indeed gets the clear recovery with Dexter Lawrence.
Big Dexter shows all you young linemen out there, hustle, sprint downfield. You never know when a ball's going to pop out.
So again, no targeting on the play because it was not forcible contact above the shoulders to a defenseless opponent. And now I imagine Steve Adazio is asking our lead official, Jeff McConaughey, why it's not BC ball because of that personal foul penalty. Because they threw a personal foul penalty with the targeting. So I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't leave that ruling in to play.
Well, and as a head coach, you got to fight for your team. Those kids want to see you fighting to make sure that you try to retain the ball.
But again, the crucial portion of that was, and a good job by the replay official, there was a clear recovery on the play. And now Brent Venables is talking to Ben Boulware about it as well. And Boulware is going to say, well, what did I do? They didn't even throw a flag on me for targeting.
And I'm sure Brent's saying, tackle him. You don't have to hit him with your shoulder. Stay out of the mess. He's saying he's in space. You shouldn't even have been in a position to be questioned.
And Steve Adazio is still pleading his case to Jeff McConaughey.
Steve also knows that he needs a break here or there to have a chance to win this ball game, and they needed to score points before the half.
So Watson down the seam for Leggett, and it's incomplete. Connor Strahan was going down the field with him, and now a penalty marker is thrown with 16 seconds left.
Pass interference, defense, number 14, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And I imagine Steve Adazio is tea kettle steamed right now.
Strahan's their impact player, really good player for them, but it was a penalty. He was all over him.
Watson trying to get outside the pocket, and he'll fire. It is caught by McLeod. Clock will stop to move the chains. It is a first down, but Dabo Swinney will use one of his two remaining timeouts. So Clemson's trying to put the pedal to the metal.
Clemson.
Try to get a score before the end of this half. Well, there are 6 ranked teams in the ACC in the top 25 right now. One of them is Clemson. They're in the top 10. Miami is in the top 10, and Florida State's in the top 25 as well. Remember, the Seminoles have won 6 in a row. But despite all of the weather issues that we've had in the Southeast, Florida State and Miami look like they're going to be ready to go for Saturday Night Football.
Absolutely. We want to make sure that we put thoughts and prayers to all the people that have been in harm's way with the storm, and hopefully everybody in Miami is safe. But this game has been one that everybody loves to watch throughout college football history. You go back and look at it. Florida State's on a run. They struggled last week. They'll be ready to play. Mark Richt's got his team rolling. This is one I can't wait to watch tomorrow night. Should be fun.
Brad Kaya has been really sharp. Florida State's pass defense has not been very sharp so far this year.
Miami, number 1 defense, along with this bunch in the country, hadn't played a great schedule, but they've sure played well.
Watson down the middle. Man gets loose. Deion Kane trying to get down now with the clock winding down, but it looked like he was not able to get down before the clock ran out, so BC will avoid giving up any points to close out this half. A frustrating end to the opening 30 minutes of play for Boston College. And Dabo Swinney telling Deion Kane, hey, you got to get
on
down.
The field with the clock expired. That's the end of the
You
first
work on
half.
that one, Adam. Catch it, get down immediately, call timeout, and get set for the field goal.
Lexus halftime report. My favorite guys, Adnan Enver, Joey Galloway, Danny Cannell. Boys, it's all yours. Welcome you back to the ACC on ESPN from Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, and Boston College down by 18. They'll get the ball to start half number 2. Tight game for the first several minutes. Boston College had some chances, just could not cash in with a touchdown in that first half. As we welcome you back into the broadcast booth, Adam Amin, Mac Brown, Molly McGrath in a moment as well. BC wants to grind things out. Clemson hasn't been able to really get it done through the grinding process, so hey, we're just going to beat you a lot down the field. And that was the name of the game for Clemson in that first half.
Yeah, Coach Swinney won't be happy with the inconsistency on offense because he wants to be consistent, not just have the big plays. And you look at what Clemson's done tonight. Gallman's tough. He's a big, strong runner. He's fast. He bounces outside after coming inside. And then one of the best players in the country, Deshaun Watson, throws it deep to Williams for the touchdown. And at the end of the half, they throw to Kane across the middle. He's got to get down. You got to get down immediately unless you score. You can see Coach Swinney going crazy because that cost them 3 points at the end of the game, end of the half.
And again, Clemson only had the ball for 9+ minutes, but like they did against Louisville last week, it was quick strikes, long strikes. 3 50+ yard plays, 2 of them were good for touchdowns. One of them set up another touchdown. So BC ball to start half number 2, and Hugel will get us started. Miles Willis with a returnable kick. And he's had some good returns in the first several weeks of this season, but he won't reach the 25, and we'll go down to Molly McGrath.
Well, Adam, Coach Steve Addazio frustrated by that call on linebacker Ben Boulware. He said he didn't really want to comment on it, though. He wanted to look forward to this second half, and he did note how much John Baker's absence hurt them in that first half. He said that they are going to need some better play by their offensive line. They need to clean up some mistakes, get their run game going to get some momentum in this second half, Adam.
Jim Cashman, Molly, is going to stay in at center. Again, we did see John Baker kind of shifting things around a little bit and trying to warm up on the sidelines late in that first half, but nothing doing right now. It is Cashman out there. Boulware and Pagano on the stop of Davon Jones to start this second half. I checked in with Bill Lamonier, one of our rules experts at the halftime break, because there is a caveat in the rule book where you can take the targeting penalty off a guy, but the personal foul will be left in play. But there was no additional personal foul penalty on Ben Boulware. So the only penalty available to him was the targeting. We heard personal foul with targeting. They should have said personal foul for targeting, and that was the only foul. So the flag can be removed, and there is no penalty against Boulware. There was a fumble, and there was a clear recovery. So the officials did get that play down on point. We appreciate Bill Lamonier checking in with us to clarify. This is what Steve Addazio, as Molly was telling you, was frustrated by. And again, it looked like the contact was up around the shoulder. It was just a good jarring hit by Ben Boulware, and you can understand Steve Addazio was frustrated based from his vantage point.
Well, and I'm really impressed with Patrick Tolles tonight. They've been chasing him all night. Great hit by Ben Boulware, but Patrick's got to slide. Slide and call timeout, Patrick, and try to get your field goal.
So now 3rd down and long, which has been the case for BC in several drives tonight. Just a 3-man rush. And Tolles trying to do it on his own, and he cannot outrun the speed of Clemson's fine defense. And this time it is Kayvon Wallace who ran him down.
Sam Small's having a really tough time at left offensive tackle. When you've got a 3-man rush and they still can't block, it makes it very, very difficult. And Cleveland Farrell's had a field day tonight rushing the passer.
Yeah, huge night for the freshman out of Virginia. Ray McLeod, fair catch, and he nearly bobbled and lost it again. Muffed a punt on the opening kick of the game. And that time he is able to hold on, and a decent field position for Clemson. So Clemson with an 18-point lead, and they'll have the ball at the 37-yard line. McLeod has had some tough hands so far. John Butchergrass, Lisa Kearney have SportsCenter at night when we're done here in Chestnut Hill. So Toronto's got a 2-0 series lead. Cubs and Giants just underway on ESPN Radio. Dodgers take game 1 against the Nationals. Indians and Red Sox in a tight series, a 2-0 lead for Cleveland so far. We'll have highlights and breakdowns of all the games, plus setting you up for the NFL Sunday and a big college football Saturday. SportsCenter at night after we're done. Watson, off play action, and Artavis Scott has a first down. Immediately they get into BC territory.
Once again, they run the ball so well with Gallman up inside. Good fake. Hits the flanker on the square end.
Pitch it to Gallman, and he gets submarine right at the line of scrimmage. Good play by Gabriel McClary with Matt Milano, the strong linebacker, out on the perimeter.
Yeah, Kane's having a tough night. He let the guy come inside, and he's over there where Coach Sweeney can yell at him. So he knows that. But if you look, the top, Milano plays well, but the corner comes inside of Kane and hits him in the backfield. Good job by McCleary.
And now Watson rolling out again, moving that launch point, and Artavis Scott slips a tackle. That's pounded down by Schwab, but he was able to get past that first line of defense.
William Harris misses the tackle out in space. He's a really good football player as a safety. These guys have a lot of talent, but you've got to tackle well in space. Coach Reed told us yesterday that's one thing they have to do. You can't miss the tackle. Schwab sprinting to take him down.
4-man rush against Watson. He's got one-on-one out of the perimeter, and a back shoulder throw to Deion Kane for a touchdown. Man, Watson throws the back shoulder really well.
Real dilemma for Jim Reed, the defensive coordinator. If you play man-to-man outside, Kane's got height, he's got speed. Really good job separating from McCleary, and perfect throw by Deshaun Watson for the touchdown. That was a good drive.
And again, inside of 2 minutes. That's been the story the last 2 weeks. Really most of his season. Quick strikes, quick scores, quick drives. 29 yards for the 3rd touchdown pass of the night for Deshaun Watson to a 3rd different receiver. This time it's Deion Kane.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
'11 graduate from Boston College with a degree in communication and broadcast journalism. Captain of the cheerleading team for a couple of years as well. How surreal is it, Molly McGrath, to be back in your old stomping grounds as an ESPN reporter?
Oh, wow. Thank you for the love. It is very surreal. I definitely had a, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here moment during the national anthem, but This is a game. We are working, guys. I'm not rooting for either team, but it's really cool to be back at my alma mater.
Yeah, congratulations, buddy. We're proud of you.
Gene DiFilippo, one of the great athletic directors in the country. Molly went to him as a junior and said, I want to get involved as a student reporter. And Gene got her started.
Miles Willis able to recover and is not going to have a whole lot of room. Down he goes near the 5-yard line. A tough night for BC continues. Good coverage by Tanner Muse. Redshirt freshman out of Belmont, North Carolina. And a long field in front of Boston College. Steve Adazio, 57 years of age, played at Central Connecticut. Started his career, as we showed you, at Western Connecticut State. Was on Urban Meyer's staff at Florida back in 2005. Was the head coach at Temple for a couple of seasons. Actually ended up getting the Temple job after you had almost hired him as your offensive coordinator.
I hired him for 10 minutes. And then he walked outside and he came back in and said, Coach, I know I took the job, but Temple just called me. He's such an honorable man. He said, what do you think? And I said, go. It's a head coaching job. And he did a super job at Temple.
Here comes Hilleman. And a good breakthrough run to get him out of the shadow of their own 5. Out to the 24-yard line. 18-yard run there for John Hilleman. Again, Boston College, they've got a bye week. Then they got to go to got to play Syracuse here. And that Syracuse game is just one of 2 games where they're actually the Football Power Index favorite in that game. UConn is the other game where they're a favorite. Other than that, they're the FPI underdog in the rest of their schedule, and they still have Louisville and Florida State on their schedule as Atlantic Division foes. There's Hilleman, not much there.
And we will not see Boston College change what they're doing offensively because they're not built for it. Great tackle by Christian Wilkins. I know he's got his whole family here. He's from this area. What a great player that young guy is. People remember he caught the fake punt against Oklahoma in the playoff game. But Steve Adazio took Temple to the first bowl win in many years, and he came in here 7-6, 7-6, 2 bowl wins. A school like this that's got such tough academics, it's hard to be great every year. They have to fight their way back through, and he's rebuilding this from his early time here.
Tolles rolling out. Not much downfield, and now he'll try to make a move and get some positive yardage out of it. And it'll set up 3rd down and long. I think Kendall Joseph is staring him down and forcing him out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a mix-up in the backfield. They haven't given Patrick Tolles a chance to do anything tonight. He's had people all over him. I've been impressed with him. He's not turning the ball over. He did have the fumble, but he's taking care of the ball and throwing it out of bounds. And he's having a tough night because he hasn't got a lot of help around him.
Clemson showing blitz and bringing it. Good pickup by Hilleman just to give Tolles some time to look for Walker. And then a penalty flag does come flying in as Walker was going in over the middle. And Ryan Carter
Pass
covered.
interference. Defense number 31. First down.
Indeed, redshirt junior out of Grayson, Georgia. A hotbed for Clemson talent. Gets flagged for pass interference. Keeps BC on the field.
There's never been a defensive back that thought he had interference. I can promise you that 100%. They brought the linebackers. They put pressure on Patrick Tolles. He sat in there. Good throw, on time. Young guy got there a little bit too quickly. Ryan Carter a little anxious.
Remember a drive that started back there on 5-yard line. They've worked it out to the 35. A low snap to Tolles. And getting chased down and brought down. Dorian O'Daniel was there first, and Dexter Lawrence helped finish him off.
Looked like a delayed blitz. He started, he stopped. O'Daniel comes from the outside. He's there. Big Dexter Lawrence right on top of him. Brent Venables has had a great night as a defensive play caller. Putting pressure on the quarterback. Really good stunt, delayed stunt by O'Daniels. Dexter Lawrence may be one of the best young players in the country. That guy's amazing.
Well, they had 5 sacks and 10 tackles for loss last week. They've got 3 sacks and 8 TFLs so far tonight. Kendall Joseph stops Davon Jones in his tracks at the 26-yard line. So it'll be third down about 19 here.
You got about 3 choices: run the draw, run a screen, or throw it deep. And he really hasn't got much time to run it deep. So I think you'll probably see a screen or something. But this big man was one of the best guys, best players in the country. Dexter Lawrence, 6'5". I used to say 250 because I didn't think anybody could be 350. He's 350. And Dan Brooks, who worked for me as the defensive line coach at Clemson, he thinks he's one of the best he's ever had. And that's a high order when you talk about some of those defensive linemen at Clemson.
There's a top 7 player coming out of high school. Bobbled and corralled by Callanan, and then Ryan Carter was right there to shut the play down. Incomplete is the ruling anyway. And Carter, who had the pass interference penalty earlier on the drive, was able to help close it out.
Big Dexter was back there again. They just can't keep him out. He is a powerful young guy.
So Mike Knoll will kick away. Ray McLeod will try to return this one. He's got some space in the sideline, so about 7 yards out to the 41. Inside of 8 to play for the third quarter. Clemson's got the lead and the ball. So earlier in this game, Deion Kane, number 8 in white for Clemson, blocking along the perimeter, or maybe lack of blocking, misses one, so Gallman gets taken down. A couple plays later on the drive, he's probably feeling pretty good about himself because ends up with a back shoulder touchdown, but Dabo Sweeney's on him as soon as he comes to the sideline about it because he missed an assignment. Hey, he's probably feeling pretty good. I got the touchdown, coach. What do you want from me?
But he said, listen, it's a good job. You got the touchdown, but you got to block. You're going to block for him, he's going to block for you so you can get that touchdown pass. And Dabo coached receivers and played receivers. So the receiver coach and the receivers have a tough job when the head coach knows everything about the position.
And, of course, Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott are co-offensive coordinators. Jeff Scott was a wide receiver as well for Tommy Bowden, and he's the wide receivers coach currently. Ball may have popped out as Gallman was trying to squirt forward, and he held on to it. Working his way to the 46-yard line. Why do you like Dabo Sweeney?
I like him because he's hands-on. He cares. He cares about his players. He cares about his coaches. He's one of the few guys that turned down money as a head coach when he took the job to give his assistants bigger salaries.
Fake to Gallman. Watson finds Leggett, and he's got the first down.
You want your assistant coaches to like you. Turn down some money as the head coach and give it to them, and the wives like you too. So it works, but he has done an amazing job. He's got to be one of the top 5 head coaches right now in America. They've recruited well. He does it within the rules. These kids play hard. This could have been a really flat disaster game tonight, and they've played well.
Watson under pressure just launches it. He was in the tackle box. He was under duress. Will there be a flag thrown for intentional grounding with Landry and Allen bearing down on him? May rule that there was a receiver in the area. So it'll bring up second down. And you see the all-in chips when Dabo Sweeney took the head coaching job on short notice. He asked a gentleman in Greenville, South Carolina named Sid Smith, part of a company called Square One, hey, can you make this chip for me, the I'm all-in chip? And on short notice, he made him for his Boston College appearance. Gallman, a good run, swung down inside the 30-yard line of the 25 by Matt Milano. And then they eventually went to the poker chip, the chip that they now use before their games. They got a big bucket, and each player drops in his chip to show I'm all in for this game. And on a short week, after getting banged around and beat up against Louisville in a win, they have proven very impressive tonight. Cut back by Gallman.
Yeah, now they want to run the ball.
Yep.
Beat them down, kill some clock, but let's work on our running game. Let's be physical. Let's get a consistent drive instead of just making a big play. We can do that. You saw Coach Sweeney saying, go, go, go. Let's get a quick speed here to get it up.
Gallman's got over 100 yards. End around here for Artavis Scott. And in traffic, we'll get the forward progress to about the 16, so a yard shy of the line to gain. John Johnson was the first man there to stop him.
Yeah, John Johnson's a really good defensive back. You go back to the chip, just like any other head coach. Dabo gets a head coaching job. He said, I want the chip. When do you want it? Tomorrow?
Of course, yeah. He wants things.
I want it immediately.
He wants things fast, I would think.
That's what head coaches do. They don't have much patience if they're very good head coaches.
Well, 3rd and 1 here. Clemson hasn't seen a ton of third downs tonight, but they're just 1 of 5. Watson to the outside and a spin by Kane. He'll take it in for his 2nd touchdown of the night. 2 last week against Louisville, 2 more this week for Deon Kane.
Guys are all in the box. Dilemma for Jim Reed. You're man-to-man with McCleary outside. You can't cover him one-on-one. And that's a 3rd and 1. So they open up their entire playbook.
One of those days for Boston College. Came in amped up with a top 5 team coming into town looking for one of those signature wins, but Clemson has been too good here tonight. All fun and games for Clemson tonight. Big lead on the road, 35-3. If they win this game tonight, it'll be an 8-game road winning streak. That'll tie the Clemson record that started with a win on the road in Charlottesville back in 1978 under Charlie Pell. And it went 8 games, and then it was closed out with a loss at South Carolina in November of '79 with Danny Ford. A little pooch kick here from Clemson, and out of bounds it will go. And Kevin Bletzer did a good job of jarring Clemson up man and Thad Smith, Megan Johnson rather, who was trying to run that ball down.
And if you're Clemson, you're working on things, and you don't want to give a deep ball so they can have a returnable ball for a touchdown, because Boston College has been good on special teams. Should have called for the fair catch. Put your hand in the air, call for the fair catch, and then they have to leave you alone and you catch the ball.
Denzel Johnson changing his number to 18 tonight on special teams. Got hit by Bletzer. So Tolles on the move, throwing past the sticks, and he's got the first down. Good catch made by Jeff Smith. Going to Clemson territory.
Yeah, good play call on first down. Get the quarterback on the corner, throw it to Jeff Smith. And you can see the potential for Patrick Tolles because he can zip it out there.
Here comes Jones, and he gets submarined by Jadar Johnson. What a good run past the 30-yard line. We'll pick up 15.
And Adam, we said that Boston College isn't going to win this game unless Clemson just totally implodes and fumbles and messes it up. But they're going to be Boston College. They're working on next week. They're working on down the road. So they're going to keep being who they are offensively. Keep playing hard on defense.
Jones again bounces off 1 tackle, and Boulware will get dragged towards the sticks at the 19-yard line.
It's also interesting how many times as a head coach you get frustrated because when your offense scores and pretty much puts the game away, your defense will go to sleep and let them have a drive. And you say, come on, get the game over with. Let's sack these bats and go home, but you can't sack the bats too early. So come on, Clemson, wake up, step up, get some energy, make a stop here. That's what Brent Venerables is telling them.
A pre-snap shifting into a power package, and Jones got upended in the backfield by Tankersley. The 2nd down coming up.
It was tough playing a short week for these two teams, but they both have tomorrow off, and you don't get many days off as a coach or player in college football. So opportunity. And in fact, Ben Boulware said, Coach, I'm going to lay on the couch and watch TV all day tomorrow.
Bust out a pizza and watch the rest of the college football slate tomorrow.
Probably after he gets in the cold tub.
Been a majority of his time this week there, it feels like. Tankersley on the tackle of Hilleman at the 15-yard line. Sets up third down and about 6.
Obviously, you're 4 downs here. Don't need to be kicking field goals, trying to score touchdowns.
Dabo Sweeney gunning for win number 81 as the head coach of Clemson tonight. Took over midway through the 2008 season, and Steve Adazio trying to snap a 10-game ACC losing skid right now. Out to the flats. Here's Jones. He's got space. And Davon Jones got jarred hard out on the perimeter by Van Smith. Lost the football, but out of bounds, and it'll be first and goal.
Good play call. Got your back in the flat. What a hit by Smith. You love the way these guys attack each other. Lower that shoulder. He tried to jump a little too early. Jones was a defensive back in the spring. He's got to lower that shoulder and try to run through him, or give him a little head fake and jump back inside. Don't try to jump him. Great play by Van Smith to keep him from scoring.
So remember the last couple of times that BC has had first and goal, they settled for a field goal and then were unable to cash in. This time Tolles, corralling the low snap, is stopped shy of the line to gain.
I'm not sure what we're going to do. I think I know what we're not going to do. I don't think we're going to run the sweep again with a new center.
Again, this is where the issues arose the last time they had first and goal. They're inside the 5-yard line. John Baker injured earlier in this game in the second quarter. Jim Cashman, the backup center, delivering the snaps, and there were a couple of low ones. Patrick Tolles just could not get a clean path to the end zone.
I think we see quarterback sneak over the right side.
Hilleman, and he gets stacked up shy of the end zone. Christian Wilkins, sophomore out of Springfield, Mass, ends up right in the thick of things to help make the stop with Watkins. Wilkins had a lot of offers, and he was likely to stay home and maybe play at Boston College, but at the 11th hour, it was Clemson who came in with the offer to him. And he could not pass up that offer to play for the Tigers, and he's going to be tended to by the training staff as we check in with Molly.
Yeah, Adam, Wilkins' family probably pretty concerned right now. As you said, he's a Massachusetts native, and he has 100 tickets reserved for his closest family and friends for this game. He told me he's excited to make his family proud. He just doesn't want to press for this game. And Brent Venables said this kind of game brings out the best in Wilkins. He's an emotional leader known for hyping up his teammates on game day. And as the stakes get higher, he elevates his play. Hopefully he's doing okay here.
How about that? 100 family and friends in the crowd tonight for Christian Wilkins.
My family would come. I don't have 100 friends, Adam. I couldn't get 100 people stirred up to come to a ball game. And Coach Sweeney told us his choices could have gone anywhere in the country. It came down to BC and Clemson because of the respect he has for this place.
So third down and goal. Tolles the fake, throws into the flat, and Bobby Wolford has the touchdown, the 4th of his career. Mike Knoll adds the extra point as BC finally gets into the end zone for the first time tonight.
Really good play call by Scott Leffler. Takes the power run to the right to Jones. Everybody, linebackers, corner, everybody bites up on it. And Bobby Wolford catches it for a touchdown. It's a play that a lot of people use, backside of the strength of the field to the boundary. Very good play call, good execution. Good score for BC, and now their defense is going to come out. We said these guys aren't going to lay down and quit. They're going to keep playing. When those fullbacks get to touch it now, they are pumped. They don't get many passes. Now if you're Coach Sweeney, Coach Scott, Jeff Scott, son of Brad Scott, who was the head coach at South Carolina, coach down at Florida State. They've got a tremendous staff. Now they're going to tell them, you got to go back and score. Got to answer.
Here comes Artavis Scott for Clemson, looking for an alley. And Scott, with a couple of cuts, will get wrapped up near the 40. An excellent field position he'll set up at the 45-yard line. Ohio State has defeated Indiana 20 consecutive games, but Indiana is coming off a confidence-building win in overtime against a good Michigan State team. But J.T. Barrett, second in the Heisman balloting, according to our Heismanology poll from Joe Tessitore. He's sitting behind Lamar Jackson right now and in front of Deshaun Watson. 17 touchdowns already and getting ready to set just about every record in the Ohio State books. That ball loose out of the hands of Watson. Pressure from Harold Landry, and it has not been ruled incomplete until just now.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete forward pass. Second down.
A good pressure by Landry off the edge.
Landry is so quick. He's tall. He's got long arms. He was undersized in high school, about 224 pounds, so he wasn't as highly recruited. These guys found a real gem in him.
Blitz off the edge, so Watson throws away from it to Cornell Powell. And he's got the first down to the 45, and that'll take us to the end of the third.
That's the end of the third quarter.
Clemson trying to move to 6-0 for the fourth time under Dabo Swinney. They had just one 6-0 start in the previous 20 seasons before Dabo took over as the head coach. And they've been impressive tonight, up by 25.
Now go off, top two.
Back at Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, you're watching the ACC on ESPN. 3 top 10 teams out of the ACC, and one of them on the road tonight. Deshaun Watson with a lot of fans because he's put together another dynamic performance in the second consecutive week. 25-point lead for Watson of the Tigers as we start the fourth quarter.
Good for John Swofford. He's really built this league into something special. It's always been great in basketball, now it is in football.
Adam Choice on the edge and inside the 45-yard line to the 41. Well, first down for Clemson. Last week, a season high in passing, a season high in touchdowns. Did have a season high in picks as well, but a season high in rushing yards as well. Tonight, 4 touchdowns, more importantly, no interceptions. The quote at the end of the game last week, after the Tigers knocked off Louisville, was, hey, Deshaun Watson's still here. And I think maybe some people in the euphoria of Lamar Jackson have gotten caught up with him, and understandably so. And I still think Lamar Jackson is the most that's playing the best right now. But Deshaun Watson is as legitimate of a Heisman contender as there is in college football right now. And I think it's those top 3, Jackson, Barrett, and Watson here, that have shown up the most impressively so far through the first 6 games.
Yes, Deshaun Watson's right in the middle of that thing. We talked about J.T. Barrett. We've got a lot of really good Heisman candidates now. We have to say Harold Landry's getting to the quarterback about every time. That young man's having a special night.
Bright spot on the front for Boston College. And BC bringing pressure, and Watson flushed. And Deshaun Watson right on cue with a run on third down to pick up the first to the 25-yard line. 16 yards there.
He can do it all. I mean, when you start looking at who's going to win the Heisman, it's going to be a group of great players. This should be a sack. Most quarterbacks, it is a sack. He gets outside, he turns up, he's aware of where the boundary is, makes his first down, steps out of bounds.
Watson on the move again, and Harold Landry chased him to bring him down a couple of yards on the run.
You're not going to see Clemson run him much. The last two were passes. They're not going to get him hit here in the fourth quarter when the game is totally in their control. But he had some slow starts. They're trying to get him some confidence here and make sure he continues to play well with a lot of young guys around him.
On 2nd and 8, here's Choice. And Adam Choice is close to the sticks, a little bit short. So this is what the Heismanology poll through week 5 looks like. And at this point, Joe Tess and the crew have done this for 8 years. Through this point of the season, through 5 weeks, there has never been a player that received 100% of the first place votes until this poll. Lamar Jackson getting all of the first place votes. But, I mean, come on, look at the guys that are still sitting behind him. This is going to be a tight race, I think, throughout the year. Watson through the hands of Choice, and it's 4th and 2.
I remember, Adam, with Ricky Williams, my first year at Texas. He was supposed to be a leader for the Heisman. We go to Kansas State. He gets 48 yards, and we get beat badly. Everybody said he's gone. I'm thinking about Christian McCaffrey. He came back and won the Heisman hands down at the end. So a lot of football left to play. We can't throw anybody out just because you have a bad game.
And McCaffrey got shut down a little bit last week by Washington, which has a tough task as well on Saturday night on the road against Oregon. Although Oregon's defense has been questioned significantly. Going for it on 4th down here, and Choice got tagged, but a flag is thrown as Connor Strahan was chasing him.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 13, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
So Strahan gets tagged with that face mask penalty, and that'll keep Clemson's offense on the field.
Yeah, it's a shame for Connor Strahan because he stretches it out. He makes the really good play, effort play, middle linebacker for them, gets the hand up around the face mask. I've always felt like unless you jerk it and it really makes a difference, it shouldn't be a penalty, but by rule it is a penalty. That young man's playing hard tonight. That was really an effort penalty as much as anything.
C.J. Fuller gets the fake. Watson will be on the move. And he gets upended inside the 5 by Schwab.
Clemson reminds me, Adam, of when I was at Oklahoma with Coach Switzer, and he said, I was offensive coordinator, and he said, don't ever let anybody touch it that can't score. Well, everybody on Clemson's team can score when they touch it, so that's not a problem for them.
Tyshawn Dye will get the handoff, and there's his first touchdown of the season. So literally everybody who's touched it seemingly tonight has had a chance to get into the end zone for the Tigers tonight.
This is great for the Clemson program when you get to play so many guys and they're happy. And one of the most enjoyable times for a head football coach and a football team assistants is in the dressing room on the road after a win. One of the toughest times is when you've just lost the game and you got to go see your team in that dressing room and try to think about next week. And there's no in between.
No. 42 points a week ago at home, 42 points on the road this week for Clemson against Steve Adazio's defense. On the road, Clemson at 5-0 with a 42-10 lead here in the fourth quarter. And Dabo Swinney, 46 years of age, the ACC Coach of the Year last year, took this team all the way to the national championship game after a win over Oklahoma in the semis. A very entertaining, thrilling game against Alabama, which saw the Tide come out on top. So Hugel kicks away, and Michael Walker will get a chance on the return here. Walker hurls across the 20-yard line, and a flag with an impressive trajectory comes flying in from the back judge, Keith Parham. I think he threw that about 25 yards.
Or the return, holding, return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Molly, good connection between Clemson and Boston College for this game tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. Former BC linebacker Mark Herzlich is rooting for the Eagles, but he's a Clemson fan at heart. Dabo Swinney was the first coach from another school to reach out to Mark when he was diagnosed with cancer in 2009, and Swinney raised money in the Clemson community for Mark's charity to fund cancer research and presented him with a check and a custom Clemson jersey signed by the whole team before their 2009 matchup, and Mark still has that jersey, wore it to the playoff last year, guys.
Really, really impressive stuff. And Mark is a very inspiring man. Battled his way back from cancer, reached the NFL. Really one of the great stories out of Boston College's program. And anybody you talk to about Dabo Swinney says, well, that's the type of guy Dabo Swinney just is. Here's Hilleman. And he works his way for maybe 2 yards, running into J.D. Davis.
We'll continue to see some backups for Clemson. A lot of times you don't see them in the secondary as much, but you want to have the front play well. But great win for Clemson tonight.
The rest of the way for Clemson, they are 87% or higher favorites, according to the Football Power Index, in every single one of the remaining games except for one, and that's at Florida State in late October.
And they probably weren't talking as much about Louisville in the offseason. They were talking about that Florida State game. So impressive tonight because they had such a tough one last week, and they've come back and played so well. But they'll be ready at Florida State.
48% to 52%. That's leaning towards the Seminoles, according to the FPI, but everything else, 87% or higher. They get NC State at home and then the much-needed bye. If you ask some of the Clemson players this week, they are very much looking forward to that bye week to get a little time to rest up. Smith can't corral it over the middle. That'll bring up fourth down. There was a referendum this week. Vote for the ACC whether or not they wanted to move to a 9-game conference schedule, because some other conferences have made that move to go to 9 games. But Dan Radakovich, the Clemson athletic director, was among several ADs who decided to stick with the status quo. 8-game schedule plus one requirement to play another Power 5 school.
Timeout, Clemson.
We talked with Dan about that today. He said flexibility was the biggest reason why. Timeout. We'll step aside.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, everywhere.
Right in the middle of BC's campus, Gasson Hall, named after the 13th president of Boston College, Thomas Gasson. Great area. And a wonderful campus here at Boston College. 6 miles west of downtown Boston, Chestnut Hill. Mike Knoll will kick away for BC. High and short. No return for Ray McLeod, but fair catch in plus territory. Likely Deshaun Watson's night is done, and another sparkling performance this week.
Guy's unbelievable. Stands in the pocket. Pinpoint pass deep. Got the double move fade that he throws to Williams up in the corner. He fakes the ball up inside, hits Jordan Leggett down the middle for the touchdown, and then hits Deion Kane with a back shoulder throw. So he's seen us all the throws that a quarterback needs to throw to be a great player, not a good player tonight. Plus, he still makes so many plays with his legs.
4 touchdowns, no picks. And Adam Choice on the move, or make that Tavian Foster on the move, 28. Feaster, freshman out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, top recruit out of the state. And it is Nick Schuessler, grad student out of Grayson, Georgia. Grayson High School. 15th career appearance Originally a Mississippi State signee, transferred to Clemson, walked on back in 2012, and playing in his second game of the season, he saw time against South Carolina State in that 59-0 blowout that needed a running clock in the second half. Feaster picks up 2 more yards.
I'm sure you wish he was playing, but it's really hard to complain when you've got Deshaun Watson in front of you. He understands. He just wants to win, especially after you transfer. We never had anybody gripe that was playing behind Vince Young in Texas or Colt McCoy. They all said, I got it, Coach.
Yeah, but how important is it to have backups that buy in? Because, I mean, how many times have we seen it? Every backup's one play away. And any one of these guys, and you hate to think about it because you don't want to see any of these stars ever get hurt that make college football so much fun to cover, but everybody's one play away.
They are, and it might look like that Clemson's trying to run the score up here. They've got to let Nick throw the ball some because he could be in there in a critical game in a starting spot.
Tyshawn Dye. He's got a touchdown tonight as well in this 32-point lead. And again, ACC play continues for Clemson with North Carolina State back at home next week. Bye week for Boston College, and what has been a very impressive conference so far. 6 teams in the top 25 in the AP poll. First time since 2006 that the ACC has had such a feat. And I wonder if still, I know at the beginning of the year we were saying, well, ACC still has the best shot to get 2 teams in for the college football playoff. And a lot of people thought, well, yeah, Florida State and Clemson. Well, Clemson's still undefeated. Does Louisville usurp Florida State in that mix because maybe their schedule strength isn't considered as strong as Florida State's? But we're going to see how that all plays out, obviously, in the coming weeks. And obviously both teams still have to win out. Schuessler under pressure. Down he goes. Zach Allen, sophomore out of Connecticut, with the sack. Florida State and Miami will square off tomorrow night. Virginia Tech and North Carolina will square off as well. Louisville is on a bye. And, of course, you're seeing Clemson tonight impressively showing up.
Well, Louisville has to be considered a team that may end up in the playoff, because they could win out. We've got them next week against Duke in Louisville, and we get to see Lamar Jackson again. So we're getting a lot of treats on Friday night, seeing some of the best players in the country. You have to look at Washington, who upset Stanford last week. They're undefeated. So how will they do at Oregon tomorrow? A lot of great games as we move forward here at the end of college football season.
Offense, number 12, 5-yard penalty.
Again, classy move by Dabo Swinney. They're 4th down. They're going to punt it, so he's going to back it up. But he's trying to kill as much clock as he can and get his guys back to Clemson so they can celebrate. As I said, it's the happiest dressing room ever when you've got your team and your staff in a game that people thought you'd be flat, where you win so big and convincingly. It's a happy time. I thought it was the most fun I ever had winning on the road, getting people to go home, emptying the stands. We used to say, get them out of there. Get them home. We want that bus to get to the airport fast so we could get back to Austin, Texas.
Fair catch signaled by Rouse. Big nights for Watson and Boulware, a couple of leaders in this Clemson team tonight. Celebrating its 12th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. And to date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. New QB in for Boston College as well, as Patrick Toll's night is done. And Darius Wade, the redshirt sophomore, who was part of a rotation of different starting quarterbacks last year. After he got hurt, a handful of guys slid into the role. 3 games as a freshman, started the season last year for 3 games. It was the red bandana game where he actually got injured against Florida State, broke his ankle. Ended up battling for the starting job this season and making his 4th appearance in the game this year for BC.
We were actually doing that game last year, Adam, and they were in a dogfight with Florida State mid-third quarter when he got hurt.
It was a 14-0 final eventually. Just another tight game that Steve Adazio's bunch tried to barrel through last year. Big hit up the middle by Trey Lamar, the true freshman out of Georgia. He was actually questionable with a foot injury tonight, but he put quite the hit.
It's so impressive that Clemson has been able to replace their front like Ohio State. These guys lost so many guys over the last couple of years to the NFL, and there is no drop-off. It's absolutely amazing how well they've recruited.
Yep.
And I know you can coach big, fast ones better than small, slow ones. I tried it both ways. So it's important to have big, fast ones.
Wade, pocket collapsing. And somehow Darius Wade is just able to slip out of it. O'Daniel was chasing him on the perimeter. But man, Darius Wade showing off some wheels. Delaware Player of the Year as a senior in high school.
Backup lineman twist in the middle. Two linemen just crossing. Those guys are so good up front. When you can get a pass rush with 3 or 4, it just allows you to let everybody else play ball.
Fair catch signaled by McLeod. 4.5 to go here in the fourth. Clemson ball. Saturday night football. 23rd ranked Florida State, undefeated 10th ranked Miami. Miami in the top 10 for the first time in 3 seasons. Will Brad Kaya be able to take advantage of what's been at times a leaky pass defense for Florida State this year? 8 Eastern on ABC. Kelly Bryant makes an appearance for the second time this year for Clemson as well at quarterback. And he gives to C.J. Fuller on first down. So Clemson with an impressive performance on the short week as we discussed. They get to go to their 3rd quarterback of the night now, the sophomore out of Calhoun Falls, South Carolina. Top 10 dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. Deshaun Watson had 4 touchdowns and no picks tonight as Bryant takes it out to the perimeter. So where is Clemson in your mind right now in terms of the best teams in the country?
I think they're playing themselves into being one of the best 4 in the country. Early, probably standing around, playing a little bit off of last year. I think when the coaches told us that Deshaun and the team had an eye-opener after Troy, they've played very well since then. This could have been a tough game, Adam. Yep. Going on the road, sore, tired, emotionally spent after last week. I was really, really impressed that they came out and dominated Boston College like they did tonight.
And they're in your top 4 in the MAC college football playoff. Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson. You threw Washington in there as well at number 4.
Well, and I would put Louisville right there with Washington because Louisville has just been that impressive.
There goes Tavian Feaster, his 2nd career touchdown and the longest run of his first season of college football, 45 yards. Adding on at the end of this game. Freshman out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, top recruit in the state. And he's got his 2nd career touchdown.
Well, one of the problems if you're BC, the backups at Clemson are better than the backups at BC, so it might look like they're not trying. Clemson's backups are really, really good.
That's the depth.
It is.
What separates the biggest programs, the best programs from everybody else.
Yeah, Clemson's 2-3 deep good, and Steve Adazio still trying to get there.
Well, Mac, you said it. Clemson is in your top 4 right now and part of your college football playoff if it were to start today. Molly, you went down to Dallas the other day and were part of a mock selection that actually went back a few years. They were taking a test season from a few years ago and applying it to today's logic and rules.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. It was really eye-opening. The public doesn't understand the level of detail that goes into this selection process, and we analyzed comparative statistics. We looked at strength of schedule, but what was most revealing is the eye test. That is the most important part that shows how dominant a team really is. It's not always quantifiable, and the committee members truly do need to watch every single game, and the perspective of former players and coaches was really valuable in this, which I'm sure you can attest to. Mac, you went to this as well.
Molly, I did, and I was very impressed with the attention to detail. I was also impressed for people to know that they let you vote for who you want to. There is no influence. They give you so many different stats. You look at all the strength of schedule. You look at every different possibility, but you vote the teams that you feel like are best. And I also thought it was interesting that if they feel like Dan Radakovich being the athletic director at Clemson, if they're talking about Clemson, he doesn't get to vote. In fact, he has to leave the room. He can't hear what they say, and he can't be involved with the conversation because they don't want any conversation about any of the process outside of that room.
It was symbolic where right outside the door of the committee room is a hat rack and a hat with every committee member's names. So they're basically trying to symbolize, keep your affiliations at the door, check them here. They want unbiased votes from these people. And the integrity of this group is very, very high.
It is. I actually was supposed to be Tom Osborne. I hope it was because he won national championships, not because he was old. So that's what I told him, because I've admired Coach Osborne for all he stood for so many years. And when they said, "Coach, you're going to be Coach Osborne," I said, "Boy, that's a first. I like that. My stock's up."
Well, I'm not calling you Dr. Mack anytime soon. I'll call him Dr. Tom, but I'm not calling you Dr. Mack anytime soon.
Well, when you win 3 national championships in a row, you can call him anything you want. It doesn't matter, because he's obviously one of the best ever.
Yeah, but it's good information, Molly and Mac. I mean, because I think a lot of people on the outside are seeing so many quantifiable statistics, so many metrics being thrown into the mix and the conversation. They rightfully belong there. But it still is a lot of what people see on tape.
And we still all get into our own teams, and you get mad because you don't like the process. But it's a very good process.
Well, as you said, one of Mac's playoff teams right now, and I mean, I think a lot of people would put them in right now with the way they're playing. Number 1 Alabama has its toughest test so far this season, going on the road to Fayetteville, where it's been difficult in the past few years. Brett Bielema's group trying to put it to Nick Saban and deliver that first loss in 17 games. And these teams have seen the gauntlet schedules over the course of the last several years. Joe Tess, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe will have the call. Arkansas head coach Brett Bielema told that crew 2 words I've given my team this week are opportunity and identity. You create opportunities by having strong identity, and Arkansas's identity is to be physical and try to wear down Alabama, and that's what they've been successful at, even though they haven't gotten the wins.
Well, and a few years ago at Arkansas, Alabama was on the ropes.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Arkansas lost it. Alabama didn't win it because Arkansas just had too many turnovers.
Ardarius Stewart, wide receiver, is expected to play, by the way, for Alabama after missing a couple of games as well. I wonder if maybe Boston College can at one point adopt an Arkansas level of success with the pro-style offense, because that's what Arkansas essentially runs. That's what Boston College is trying to run, and they've got a very competent quarterback, more than competent. He's played very well this year in Austin Allen, and he'll probably be the toughest quarterback outside of Chad Kelly that Alabama has seen this year.
Yes, and that's what Steve Adazio wants to do. He wants to have a program like a Wisconsin, like an Arkansas, that can run the ball and be physical and have a chance to take some pressure off your defense. Their defensive front's really good. Where they've gotten in trouble tonight, they couldn't cover Clemson one-on-one. But that front's good. The front seven's good. Those linebackers are tough. I think they're what we were sold.
Wade threw too far inside, and Mark Fields will take it to the house. A pick 6 for the Charlotte native, and Clemson gets over the half-century mark. What a moment for that young man. The first big play of his career. His dad was a good one. Former Washington State linebacker, top 15 pick by the Saints, played for the Saints and the Rams and the Panthers, a two-time Pro Bowler. And his son with the pick six to put Clemson at the 56-point mark.
Does so much for your program when these young guys get to come in and make plays, gives them confidence, gives them experience. Brent Venables, what a job he's done tonight.
Enjoy it, young man. This was a big, big play for Mark Fields.
Darius Wade throws it a little bit off Mark. Mark Fields intercepts it, takes it back very easily to the end zone. And you can see the excitement. Nothing better for your football team than to have a young guy making a play at an end of a game and you all can brag on him.
We look at the rest of a lot of the first team guys coming over, congratulating him. And listen, this isn't the only team that acts like this. This is very positive stuff. This is the point of having a tight-knit group. But I think that starts at the top. I know we've said good things about Dabo Swinney tonight. I don't think they're off base by any means, but I think a lot of that starts with the head man. And I mean, I know you've known him for a long time, but that was my first experience yesterday, getting a chance to sit down and talk with the man, and he was an impressive figure.
He's very impressive, and he's got a tremendous staff. And these guys have not let them let up. And very honestly, when you put the second teamers in, the third teamers in, they're fresher than the starters. And it's their opportunity to show what they can do. So Mark Fields is 5'10". He'll be 6'2" by the time he gets on that plane tonight going home. He'll be proud.
Alex Spence kicking away, and Tajamir Torres will get a shot from the 5-yard line. And some giddy up here. Is a good return out to the 35. So for the 5th time, Texas A&M is the site for College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, live from College Station, Texas. Earlier today, they were off to the races. You got to find your spot. You got to get down. 9 a.m. Eastern time on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. 0-4, though, so far when Game Day has gone to College Station. So we'll see if Texas A&M can turn it around against Josh Dobbs in Tennessee tomorrow. Boy, Trevor Knight, I've been really impressed by him. Remember, they got that really good win against Arkansas at Jerry World a couple of weeks back. I think A&M has been maybe exceeding some expectations at the beginning of this season.
Well, we were unsure what would happen with Trevor Knight. He had a tremendous ball game against Alabama in a bowl game when he was at Oklahoma. Sometimes you just need a change, and it happens. I saw Bob Stoops the other night say, I've talked to Trevor and congratulated him, and Baker Mayfield needed a change from Texas Tech. He goes to Oklahoma. So all these guys are very talented, and Trevor's going to have to play well to win tomorrow against a good Tennessee team. And Adam, they talk about they've lost. They're 4-0 with Game Day. Game Day usually doesn't show up for a bad team.
That's true. That's true.
They used to say it when I was at Carolina. You need to wear all blue. Well, I said every time we wear it, we get beat.
It's not good for us.
But I said we only wear it against great teams. Let's wear it against a bad team so we can win with all blue. If that's what you want to wear again.
Well, an impressive performance tonight by Clemson. Put it to Boston College. It's the most points that Steve Adazio has allowed as a head coach, either at BC or at Temple. It'll be an 8-game road win streak to tie the Clemson record for the Tigers. It'll be a 4th 6-0 start under Dabo Swinney and a 6th consecutive win over Boston College. 56-10 the final score. Clemson remains unbeaten at 6-0. For Mac Brown and Molly McGrath, our great crew here in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, Adam Amin says so long from Alumni Stadium. Sports Center at night right now.